Zealand. Okay. She needs to step it up tonight. In fact, she's rented the theater next door from here, Aaron, the Fillmore, for a watch party. And she's got
Alright,
an
guys.
army of supporters out front today, parading in front and back of the Fox Theater in town to show she's not going away quiet.
Hey, so for anybody joining in, I'm just getting sound issues and all the stuff out of the way. I always start 30 minutes before, so if you hear overlap or anything, that's why.
But they do get Aaron opening
So,
and closing statements, which they didn't get last time. A minute each at the top, 30 seconds at the bottom. So that will be different. Also, we're told by CNN that there will be no raising of the hands question. No one-word answers. No one-word answers. So we'll see where that takes us if there's any way for them to distinguish themselves. But it's going to be a different format.
Show of hands on the radio. Who likes that approach? No? Mary, you're coming off of an incredible week on Capitol Hill of Mueller testimony, and even with what some consider to be rather lackluster, a growing call for President Trump's impeachment. And there's a difference between the candidates on stage and the Democrats back in Washington.
Yeah, and of course, impeachment is still the big
I think I'm gonna lower the resolution.
over any political
Yeah.
conversation, and we were just talking in the break.
Actually, that's unbearable. Alright, tell me if the frame rate is too low.
By candidate Tom Steyer, who's not on
And if it is, then I'll drop the resolution down a bit. But I can't drop it too much.
is the way that the impeachment
Also, sorry for any background noise.
presidential race, because Democratic leaders in Washington right now are trying to walk this fine line. They're essentially trying to run out the clock. The impeachment is still on the table, but they're not ready to go there just yet. But that means that the impeachment conversation continues to dominate. We're still talking about it. It's a conversation out on the campaign.
Yeah, we're basically just chilling until this, until the debates actually start. I don't have much to say, so I probably won't be saying much.
Because impeachment continues to dominate. So in many ways, Democrats know that the clock is ticking. They're going to have to make a choice soon. Do they go ahead and continue down this path, follow the drumbeat to impeachment, or do they
Also,
you know what, let's focus all of our attention out on the campaign?
there will be a collab with Icy. For anybody that watched my live streams from 2 months ago, or a month ago, sorry, in June, late June, the first round of Democratic debates, we did a collab with Icy, and also Arrow. And Arrow will not be on today. He might do a collab and be on the stream tomorrow, but Icy will be on tonight. So.
Officially played that card yet, though, but the numbers are growing. They're not a critical mass yet, not enough to force the hands of Democratic leaders, but you are slowly seeing that number, especially in the House, of Democrats who say, look, it's time, let's just go there.
There was a little bit of a Robert Mueller bump after all, even though his testimony left a lot of Democrats deflated. Aaron, we've seen, as Mary and I were just talking off during the break, over 100 members of Congress now think President Trump should face impeachment proceedings, which is a significant increase from before his testimony.
Let's pull Matt Dowd, the ABC News political analyst, into our conversation. Matt, how do the candidates deal with impeachment with the president? That isn't necessarily a way to distinguish yourself on a debate stage.
Well, first they have to be clear about where they stand. That would be a great beginning, to be very clear about where they stand. I mean, I think you can make an argument. They can make an argument that there's different ways to go about this. That it doesn't have
Only interesting people I think out tonight are going to be Marianne Williamson. She's going to spark some conversation. She's not going to really say much, but she's going to get conversations started between other candidates. And honestly, that's probably it. Bernie Sanders might show up because this is a lot of weak candidates tonight, but he was one of the worst candidates last month when the debates were happening, so I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't been nearly as effective as I thought.
Successfully have that conversation, or does that have to wait till tomorrow?
I think they do need to successfully have that conversation. I mean, one of the reasons why I think it's pointed not only because of current.
Also, I will be talking over the live stream of the Democratic debates. Yeah, I'm not going to be muting it and stuff like this constantly because it just gets annoying. So, yeah.
And then, obviously, a great movement of Wipeout and the whole controversy over busing. And one thing to recall is Michigan was a state back then that George Wallace won the Democratic primary for president in Michigan, in that state. So I think if I were them, knowing you're on an all-white stage in a majority African American city, and with a lot of people wanting to listen to this, I think they need to speak to whites. That's what they need to do. They need to, obviously talk about what this means, but they need to talk about why this matters to whites, why racial divisiveness is bad for the country, including white areas, rural areas, suburban areas, ex-urban areas. That's the language I would use, the language that sort of says we as white people need to address this issue.
That's ABC News political analyst Matt Dowd, who is following this debate with us as we close in. About 20 minutes to go before 10 Democrats debate, with Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders at the center of the stage, and some of the candidates looking to make inroads toward the edges. Steve Bullock and John Delaney and John Hickenlooper. And then right in that middle tier, Beto O'Rourke and Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar finding a way, or trying to move.
Yeah, so
the
Amy
middle tier
Klobuchar, like a lot of these
top tier of
people, like
candidates on a night
Pete
when
Buttigieg was a little bit better than the other ones, but like a lot of these candidates were from night one. Beto was, Pete was, I believe, Elizabeth was,
from ABC News.
I think Tim Ryan, no, yeah, but a lot of these candidates were from like,
Imagine the morning. I'm talking about a good morning. Imagine
they're
starting
from the
day
first
off
night,
with
and the
friends.
first night
What's
didn't
better
do
than
well.
that?
Like,
You
if
know,
you
like
go
the
back and
crazy
watch my
slide
stream,
train. Always
it's on the
keep it
channel,
up. The friends
from the
that
first
take you
night.
apart and
Also, the
smile
second night
just
stream,
make
sorry,
everything
real quick,
Imagine
there will be a video coming, but it got
Imagine
blocked
knowing
by
what's
Comedy
coming
Central,
next a day ahead.
so you
Well, I
cannot
can do this
re-watch it, so the only people that can see it are the people that saw it originally. It's nothing I can take out or edit out. It's,
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC
it's
News Live.
stupid YouTube's algorithm of automatically,
ABC News breaking news. Live
I'm muting this, it's YouTube's stupid algorithm of automatically blocking videos and stuff and giving too much power to big companies. So, long story short, Comedy Central blocked a part of me talking about slavery reparations, of Bill H.R. 40, because it thought it was a comedy routine with Trevor Noah. So there's that. So yeah, it was blocked. I'll be working on, getting a video out about that, the whole situation. I decided to not dispute it, because it was just like, for one, I'm small, it's not like it's a money issue, it's just stupid, and honestly, me disputing it is gonna have nothing happen, and probably get me a strike on my channel, so I don't really care. So yeah, the second stream was blocked, so sorry to people that want to rewatch it, you can't. Only people that originally saw it can see it. But the first stream is on the channel. I had a lot of audio issues and visual issues and stuff, in the beginning, so just warning. But yeah, you can go back and rewatch it and stuff and just skim through it, even if you want. You can see just the first night was terrible, of June. Yeah, nobody knew what they were talking about. So that's why I'm curious to see as to how this is gonna go. I don't have high hopes for tonight, but we'll see. It's just, it's a bunch of candidates that are just like, a lot of them, or a big chunk of them, are from the first night, and the other ones didn't really show up in the other candidates never really showed up in their debates. I mean, Bernie Sanders, who people predicted to be a big winner, in my opinion, he did pretty bad. He was on, like, the lower end of people that helped or provided substance or whatever. Honestly, I would argue Bernie Sanders is hurting the Democratic Party right now, seeing as he's trying to give different definitions for socialism, which we all know Trump will abuse. So as a political move, it's pretty pointless and stupid. I don't know why he's doing that. Like, there are differences between socialism. There's democratic socialism. There's all sorts of stuff. But that doesn't matter to Trump, and that doesn't matter to a lot of people. So if Bernie Sanders is trying to like come up with who's socialist and why we're socialists and stuff like that, or why the Democrats, not we, sorry, why the Democrats are socialist, I don't know what he's trying to do. But yeah, so we'll see. I'll unmute this again. I guess just a little commercial.
Now
Yeah.
streaming on Hulu. ABC News, America's #1 news source. Straightforward news, straight to the heart of the story. ABC News, straightforward.
Wouldn't exactly say that, but okay. Although ABC is one of the better news stations, I would say, but it's still mainstream, so.
Preview to the Democratic debates. Once again from Detroit, here is ABC News correspondent Aaron Katersky.
The candidates are about to take the stage. We're about 15 minutes away from the second Democratic presidential debate, night one of a two-night affair. We're here with ABC's Devin Dwyer and Adam Kelsey, who trucks himself around the country following all of these candidates. Because we want to know what surprises we're going to hear about. I mean, Devin, the first debate, Julian Castro came out and said, let's decriminalize border crossings and let's give health care to
illegal immigrants. Then there was the busing attack from Senator Kamala Harris on Joe Biden. Came out of left field. Adam, what is in store tonight? You be our crystal ball. Who's going to come out swinging? Who's going to slash and burn, go down like a kamikaze plane?
Well, it's funny that you say like a kamikaze, because the folks who are going to be doing these slashing and burning are the ones who basically at this point don't have anything to lose. So
Also, feel free to put comments in, ask me questions, put your opinion, do whatever.
Any progress as far as the polls go, and he already told us earlier today that he is going to go straight after Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders.
Also, I forgot to say, I've been working on this channel for a bit as an independent channel, but I just linked it today to my main channel, which is Fish Rick. If you go look that up, I have about like 50 subs or so on it. And you can go sub to it, check out some of that content. It's not political. This channel is going to be strictly for politics and stuff like that, but it's more of a variety channel, whatever. So yeah, they are linked. This channel is featured on that channel, so if you want to go check that out. So.
Can't be done, particularly in this age of hyper-partisanship in Washington, D.C. Not only can you not even get it to the Senate floor, but the idea of it being passed and being paid for, she thinks it's a bridge too far. So she's somebody, didn't really get a lot of headlines during that last debate. She had that famous line that some of these ideas were all foam and no beer, but I would look for her tonight to kind of make a more clear argument about where she stands in this field.
Did they really say that in Minnesota, Devin?
Oh, for darn tootin'. Oh, for shucks.
I know you spent some time
What
with
the
the
heck?
campaign of Bernie Sanders. Does he have any surprises? He's been preaching the same note for 40 years.
Yeah, well, that's the entire argument that his campaign makes, is that he's been the most consistent voice on these progressive issues, going all the way back to the time that he was mayor of Burlington, Vermont. And I talked to his campaign manager, Faz Shakir, a little bit earlier today.
He'd been consistent, but he sure wasn't
that he's going to highlight tonight. He's going up there
a highlight candidate
because progressivism
from
is
last
I've
night.
been a progressive.
Thank you for the coverage. Oh yeah, sure. I enjoy doing it.
I've argued for healthcare reform. I've argued for climate change awareness and tackling that issue. I've argued for education reform the entire time that I've been in Congress.
Yeah, and I'll be live also tomorrow. Same time, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. For the second round of debates, and I'll be commenting just like this. And we'll have, I think, a different person that will be collabing with me. We might have the same person from tonight, Icy, but we'll see.
And it's gotten very high. In fact, Bernie Sanders accusing his critics, Joe Biden and others, of basically towing the line of the Republicans.
Thanks for the coverage. Oh, yep.
The talking points of the private insurance industry, he says. This is a Democrat attack, and vice versa.
Yeah, and once again, just tell me if audio's off or visuals are off or anything. I know it's not the best quality. Sorry. Right now I'm streaming this from a Chromebook, so... but in a few months I expect to get a better PC, so there will be streams like this will be much better in the future. Just for now, I'm kind of stuck to Chromebooks, so I apologize for that.
From the Andy Klobuchar's, maybe even Montana Governor Steve Bullock tonight. Look for him to make that point about it's going to cost less in the end and net savings for most Americans.
But he really wants to run against Joe Biden. Can he do that with Biden not on the stage until tomorrow?
Also, quick disclaimer before we get going, you obviously probably won't agree with everything that I say, but that's kind of the point of politics, so don't get offended.
That they are the two people, not just on this stage, but on the stage tomorrow, who are best equipped to kind of shepherd that transition to the left. And even though Joe Biden might not be there, they're certainly going to speak about why, in the healthcare realm, Medicare for all is the better solution. Get everybody under the same plan, as opposed to allowing, like Devin was saying earlier, the private insurance industry to still control some of that industry.
All right, Adam.
Yeah, honestly, Elizabeth Warren didn't show up that big. She was not a standout candidate like people predicted. You can go back and watch the third live stream on my channel.
The questions. We'll have some final thoughts from our team here in Detroit. Stay with us. I'm Aaron Katursky, and you're listening to live coverage.
I'll check with Icy, but I don't think Steve Bullock was in debates. I don't remember. I don't think so. But I know this was kind of like a raffle, so. Or a lottery.
Underwater 24/7 streaming news source, ABC News. Imagine breaking news, live events as they happen, streaming live, non-stop, straight to you. Imagine instant, incredible access to the most compelling live video. That's grenade. Original, on the edge, breakthrough storytelling.
No, it's a toy. Yeah, it's a grenade.
ESPN, all the most innovative storytellers, all designed differently for you to stream straight to any screen whenever you want, free. And imagine the most celebrated, epic live events and moments, all playing out right before your eyes.
Alright, and we have 7 minutes to go. And then we'll get to this show on the road.
Just look at all of the smoke here.
Real, raw, live. No matter where the news that takes us. We're taking it. Wow.
That's what first responders were worried about.
And go deeper
Yeah, no
inside
way.
the
Holy
groundbreaking
crap.
exclusives from the campaign trail. Only ABC
Gosh.
News gets. Behind the scenes, exclusive access.
Take you inside for an extraordinary tour here at ABC News Live. This is it.
It's time to go there, be there, experience it, live on the scene. Maybe that's why, in just 1 year,
ABC I've heard is one of the better news outlets. It's still mainstream, so you know, take it with a grain of salt. But you know, I mean Milo Yiannopoulos, he's a bit of an he's a conservative. Well, actually, Republican. He's a Trump supporter, but not necessarily Republican. He's strictly a Trump supporter. And he does like speeches and stuff. You can look him up if you want. But warning, he's not like most. He freely curses and stuff. So if you don't like that, then whatever. There's your warning. But yeah, he's actually said he worked for ABC at one point in time. He actually said it was a good news source because they let him say whatever he wanted, which is a good thing, especially coming from a Trump supporter. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but I would say it's a bit better.
And now the gang's all here. I'm happy to be back, especially when I come out and my co-host looks like ketchup and mustard.
And it's a bit better than the majority of certain news outlets, like for example CNN, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, CNN's a big one. NBC. Me personally, I say Fox News as well. But yeah.
For the boisterous crowd outside the Fox Theater here in downtown Detroit, we are nearly there. The second Democratic debate. First night, 10 candidates about to take the stage. ABC News political analyst Steve Roberts is here with us. Some divisions within the party going to be evident on stage tonight.
Look, the Democrats agree on one thing, which is how important it is to beat Donald Trump. They disagree on how to do it. And it's going to be very visible tonight, in part over the issue of impeachment. You have the Elizabeth Warrens of the world who have decided that this is the way they're going to make their mark, arguing, saying, even if
we have 4 minutes until
and you have
the
other
debates
Democrats saying there is a better way
begin.
to get rid of Donald Trump than impeachment, and that's to beat him at the polls. And that division in the Democratic Party, do you go to the left, do you energize your base, do you go for impeachment, versus the more moderate view, which is you aim more for moderate voters, you don't waste your time on impeachment, you don't engage in futile crusades against the president. That's going to be very much on display in this debate tonight.
Yeah, that's honestly their thing, is they can't go for impeachment at this point, regardless of what you think about the impeachment and like where you stand on the issue with Donald Trump's impeachment. If he colluded with Russia, if he did other things, if not, whatever. Regardless of where you stand, I think it's kind of pointless for them to go for impeachment, because it's just a waste of time. It's diverting their resources to that, and it's, for one, it's kind of a cheap way of beating him, but if he did do the things that he's been accused of, then, he probably should be impeached, but, it's also between whether he did those things or not. But it's kind of pointless, because if they go for impeachment, it's a waste of their time. It's a diversion of resources. Like, they just need to beat him in a fair game, beat him in the race. Well, politics is never fair, but they need to beat him in the election. They need to stop going for impeachment, because it's not going to work. And it will probably result in them losing, and he will also abuse it and show that that's one of their weaknesses, and that they're doing stupid stuff like that, instead of running the country, quote-unquote. I could even see that. He would totally say something like that, so it's pointless for them to waste their time. It'd be a stupid political move. Now, I know some candidates tonight are gonna say that they should go in for impeachment, if not all of them. But I hope that there are some that want to just beat him in the election, because if they do that, that's their straightest shot at winning. And it's much more reliable than trying to go for impeachment.
ABC News.
Alright, and we're about to kick it off. I think there might be an outbreak before. I'm not sure.
ABC News honored winner of 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards. ABC News, America's #1 news choice. ABC News, straightforward. In times like these, the news-making events happen here. ABC News.
President Trump meeting face-to-face with one of the world's most brutal dictators, Kim Jong-un.
The president.
You trust him? I do trust him, yeah. I think he trusts me, and I trust him.
Ivanka Trump.
I have to ask you about your emails. Your father had taken Hillary Clinton to task for this.
There just is no equivalency.
So the idea of lock her up doesn't apply to you.
No.
Comey.
How strange is it for you to sit here and compare the president to a mob boss?
Very strange. Michelle Obama.
What do you wish you could tell your pre-White House self?
Melania Trump.
Do you think there's still people there that he can't trust?
Yes.
Still working now?
Yes.
Michael Cohen.
So he's still lying.
Yes.
It's a big statement.
And now, in a year with so much on the line, we're right there.
Good evening tonight from Washington. A very busy news night.
America's #1 news source. ABC News, straightforward.
It's 8 o'clock, so
ABC News,
getting on with it.
straightforward.
Pete Buttigieg is not your typical
Or
presidential
not.
candidate. He plays impromptu guitar and piano gigs.
Oh, let's do this, yeah.
And speaks 7 languages, including Arabic. Of course, his is better than mine.
That's quite a beat. You're good.
He's a Rhodes Scholar who served as a naval intelligence officer in Afghanistan. He's been the mayor of his beloved hometown of South Bend, Indiana, for the past 7 years.
So Holdown Town's going through this renaissance that we're trying to keep balanced with the need to invest in the neighborhoods. Because you need a healthy heart kind of pumping blood out into the neighborhoods.
At 37 years old, a millennial, the youngest of the candidate crop,
Hey,
he's got a
millennial.
black belt in the political jujitsu that turns apparent weakness into strength.
Alright,
Like his name.
I'm looking for another stream.
Now, winking, inside joke among his supporters, and his sexual orientation, far from hiding it,
Because
gay, married
it's past 8.
puts it on center stage.
Now if it starts, then okay. I assume they're just running late, but I want to see.
There's only one way to find out.
The principles that will guide my campaign for president are simple enough to fit on a bumper sticker. Freedom, security, and democracy.
ABC's the only one
Unknown when he announced he
that's
quickly
streaming.
became a buzzy candidate for the nomination.
We've been able to go from total obscurity to leading the entire Democratic field in fundraising and vaulting into the top 5 among the candidates.
CNN?
Our visit comes at a pivotal time for Buttigieg,
Alright,
who's been
this should
running
be
on
it.
his record as mayor. In recent weeks, that record called into question.
You might have some overlap for a second here, but I'm gonna try and okay, hi Liam.
I have black supporters and I have black critics in this community. But at the end of the day, I would not have gotten reelected in this community without black support.
But his support among African Americans dipped during that re-election.
This morning, we're following a major development after a South Bend police officer shot and killed an armed theft suspect Sunday morning.
It could now be at a new low following the June 16th shooting of an African American man, Eric Logan, by a white police officer who alleges Logan approached him with a knife and ignored several orders to drop it.
You're saying it's not good enough? You're right.
The city has provided no corroboration of those claims to the public.
The story that was reported by the police department, it just didn't add up to a lot of residents here. He wasn't known to be someone who would carry a knife. He wasn't known to be someone who would challenge the police.
This happening in a city whose population is about 25% African American, roughly 35% of them living in poverty. 6 days after the shooting, he held a town hall in South Bend. Residents confronted him.
I am raising a 7-year-old grandson that when he sees the police, he is afraid. That is not what's supposed to happen in America, in Indiana, in 2019.
The issue becoming a flashpoint in the first Democratic debate on NBC.
The police
I'm gonna
force
find
in South
a
Bend is now 6% black
thing real
in a
quick.
city that is 26% black. Why has that not improved over your 2 terms as mayor?
Because I couldn't get it done. Why did you respond that way? Because it was the truth. It may or may not be good politics, but I think that if I'm going to talk proudly of all the achievements we've made, I've also got to own all the ways we've fallen short. There will be accountability for the officer involved.
When you're the mayor, you should fire the chief. That's the policy and someone died.
What was going through your mind when you began to answer that and then kind of got stumped?
I wasn't stumped.
You were quiet.
I was. Sometimes the better part of valor is restraint.
What actually gets
What?
through the
Oh my
veneer
gosh,
into
no.
your gizzards?
No, it's called You Didn't Have an Answer.
And how I
Don't
how
play
I
around
act
it.
is because
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
really passionate about the work that I do and about the country we live in. So I try to make sure that I don't get carried off into saying or doing something I'd regret.
What hurts you?
Well, it hurts me to see people suffer. It hurts me to confront the possibility that that's being made worse by something that I'm part of. The things that bother me most are the moments when I realized I might have done something differently.
Today, Buttigieg announcing his Douglas plan for addressing systemic racial
Alright.
inequalities.
It seems like this is correct.
Criminal justice reform and
I think they're doing like a little intro to
Black Americans experience
put the video on full screen.
injustice. Every American is better off.
Buttigieg's high school teacher and supporter, Julie Chismar, says she's always known him to face a challenge.
Okay, there we go.
One thing about Peter is that he continues to learn. He will take someone's suggestion
that better?
explore it to see if there's a better way of doing something. He will always reevaluate, and he is not going to abandon any project because if it is good for the people and is going to improve their lives, that's what it's about.
Buttigieg was running for his second term as mayor when he made the politically risky decision to come out.
Got reelected with 80% of the vote in a socially conservative community.
because people were more interested in the fact that the city was coming back and the way that I had served this community. I believe the same will happen at the national level.
Today we introduce the mayor. It is important to him that his city thrive.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're
More importantly, I think, the city did not
introducing every
believe in itself
candidate,
before Peter became mayor of South Bend. That
which
was
at
his
this
first
rate will
task.
take an
How do you get
hour,
the city to
but
believe in
okay.
itself again? And the city does
That's what it
believe
sounds
in
like.
itself.
As mayor, he's distinguished himself by using technology and data to govern. The self-avowed technology junkie has caught Silicon Valley's attention. A chunk of
Don't
Buttigieg's
believe
last round of
this though.
fundraising
Like,
came from big
first
tech.
night it didn't last
He's
this long.
breaking
I
up
don't
some
know what's
of the
going
giant
on.
tech companies, something that you would
Yes.
support.
Okay.
Potentially.
Cool.
I think that we see evidence of anti-competitive behavior, and the Federal Trade Commission needs to be empowered to deal with that. So I don't think presidents or candidates ought to sit around picking companies to break up. What we do is we set certain rules.
Come on.
In fact, Buttigieg is leading the Democratic field in fundraising, outraising every other candidate with a bank-busting $25 million just in the past 3 months. ABC News' poll has him at about 4%.
It just started.
There's something about our message that matters. And I think what it is people are ready for something different. Do you think you're ready to be president right now? And if so, why? I wouldn't run for president if I didn't think I were ready. What we need right now is leadership that can recognize the accelerating pace of change that we're dealing with. If we're not dealing with the causes, then we're never going to be able to deal with the symptoms. And I think what we need is a president who looks into the future and recognizes what implications those changes that will play out across my lifetime have for the present, the decisions we're making right now. If you don't get the nomination, what do you do? My plan is to win.
For Nightline, I'm Matt Gutman in South Bend, Indiana.
ABC
Good answer, I guess.
Number one news source.
Okay.
Straightforward news. Straight to the heart of the story. ABC News. Straightforward.
So this is the first time you take a chance on me. Let's walk up the hill here because I can tell you, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Have you heard he's running for president? Yes, he's president. God bless you.
Major, what can you tell us about your father? He sacrificed himself in the search for intelligent life.
Alright. Sorry. I'm seeing if CNN is streaming right now and ABC's doing something different.
I've never seen a candidate for president give his cell phone number to somebody on the street. In this community, I've been giving out my cell phone number since I started. And people don't disturb you, bother you. And if they need help, you should be there for them. You bring the light. You bring the strength. You fight
Cory
with
Booker.
the best of who you are, not the worst of who you are.
This style of retail politics is
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a character.
is what Booker is
Not a
betting
powerful
will
one
take
though.
him to the White House.
We'll see how he does tonight, but
Man, Cory.
last month he didn't show up, he didn't do that much. So I don't know.
The guy who was the chief executive of a major city, I ran a fire department. Fighting fire with fire is not a good strategy for putting out fires.
Booker cut his teeth as a politician in a street fight, literally.
I'm Cory Booker. You ever hear my name?
His first run for mayor of Newark, chronicled in the Academy Award-nominated documentary called Street Fight.
Well, it's time that we pull together.
He lost that race, but proved his
Okay, I'm swapping this.
He finally became mayor
Hold
of
up,
Newark
we
in
have collabs incoming.
taking on a city deeply mired in poverty, crime, injustice.
Hello?
One of his solutions to revitalize
How's it going? I'm Stu here.
sparking criticism
Good.
was too close to big
I gotta set this up. I just found out ABC is doing something completely different. So let me
I'm
set
sorry,
this.
say that again.
ABC News, the thing that I'm streaming from right now, is doing something completely different than what CNN's doing. They're doing all these little, like, videos. CNN is actually live streaming the debate right now. They're like, looks like they're taking the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me pull this up.
I'm watching the CNN feed.
Okay. Right. Alright, looks like we're good. Looks like we're back. We don't need that. So this is CNN. Oh, it's so slow. Yo, do you have stream up, Isaiah?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Do you have stream up, my stream?
Yes.
Alright. It says CNN. Is CNN on commercial break for you?
Yep.
Alright, cool. And do you have like a black screen, right?
Yeah, and it says CNN Go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, sorry for the lag. Everything. Oh, yeah, I'm 20 seconds behind. It's too much work to bring it back up. I'm gonna be like a lot delayed from you, Isaiah. I think if CNN would just be like normal people and stream this on YouTube, then I wouldn't have a problem. So NBC did, but they want to be special. So it'd be in a pain in my butt right now. Oh.
You can't hear my, I have it playing on the TV. You can't hear that, can you?
I can. Yeah, I can. And it's fine for me, but it's probably gonna get.
Okay.
Alright, sorry, my whole, stream is kind of getting messed up right now, so. Live TV, there we go. I don't know if I cut my stream. People in chat tell me if stream's still working. Looks like it is. Will Luke be commenting earlier? You said he would. He maybe. I see. Do you know if Luke will be commentating?
He may be on later in the night.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends. I don't know. I don't remember. Did he for the June debates? I think he did.
Yes.
He did for a little bit. Yeah, CNN's just so laggy. It's terrible. Oh my gosh.
This could threaten our entire solar system.
Okay, it seems like we're working.
To find out what's happening out there. I'm ready.
Alright, alright, alright. I think I got it.
Warren want to take us with bad policies like Medicare for all, free everything, and impossible promises that'll turn off independent voters.
Alright, cool.
And get Trump reelected.
Okay. It just froze again.
That's what happened with McGovern.
The only thing I see on the live stream is the Discord chat.
Yeah, the live stream's delayed. Like, I don't even know. CNN's so freaking stupid. Why can't they just stream it off of YouTube? This makes it so hard.
Someone with new ideas to create universal health care for every American with choice. Someone who wants.
Yeah, it's about to be unwatchable. Oh my god. Can you check ABC and see if they're actually doing anything?
To unify our country.
Because my computer can't take it.
Everywhere. And then.
Oh my god. This is terrible.
ABC is just doing analysis.
CNNB slacking. Yeah, they are. Like, so easier for. It's so easy to just stream it off of YouTube. NBC had it running on their website, and then they also had it running on YouTube. Like normal people. Oh my god. And I can't downgrade the resolution at all. Are you able to find anything on YouTube, Isaiah? Is there a way to use... No. There's not.
I'm not.
Unfortunately. Yeah, because this is unwatchable. Maybe NBC's doing it.
Should I try to stream it?
You could, but it would be... probably too late.
Seats in the House, and not one of those 40 Democrats support the policies of our front runner.
Freaking, oh my god. Freaking CNN is... Yeah, all these websites are just too, they're too slow. Yeah, NBC's not live streaming it. Trying to find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Because if I can't find anything, then I'm probably just going to cut stream. Because it's honestly pointless for me to run this. Like, I'm having, like, impossible lagginess all over the place right now. Alright. Stream's gonna go black. I'm gonna delete everything and try and find a solution. So yeah.
thing.
Alright, we're back. So we're trying something. I see he's gonna screen share. And then, yeah, share your audio. Alright, alright, this is better.
Is this good?
Yeah, are you able to turn up the audio?
Even bigger than the emergency of the Trump presidency. Ask yourself how somebody like Donald Trump ever gets within cheating distance of the Oval Office in the
Better?
A little bit, yeah. Is there a way to, like, turn it up to max? See how that works?
No, because I have headphones in.
Oh, okay.
So I'd be, yeah, busting my eardrums if I turned it up any louder. Could you turn it up?
No, I can't.
Huh.
I don't think so.
By 2030, the average house in this country will cost $500,000, and a woman's right to choose may not even exist. We're not going to be able to meet this.
Who's saying it should exist? You know.
We've got to summon the courage to walk away from the past and do something different. This is our shot. That is why I'm running for president.
Senator Elizabeth
This is
Warren.
so much better, thank you.
Donald Trump disgraces the office of president every single day. And anyone on this stage tonight or tomorrow night would be a far better president.
See, this is the problem with...
I will work my heart out to beat Donald Trump and to elect a Democratic Congress. But our problems didn't start with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is part of a corrupt, rigged system that has helped the wealthy and the well-connected and kick dirt in the faces of everyone else. We're not going to solve the urgent problem.
Stream cut for me again. Yeah, I know. Alright, now we should be good.
Is the volume okay?
It's low. I don't know. Stream, can you hear it? Let me know.
For our democracy and our economy to work for everyone. No, I know what's broken in this country. I know how to fix it, and I will fight to make it happen.
Also, sorry for the frame rate, but we can't really help it. It'll get better once I get a better PC soon.
87 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. But the healthcare industry made $100 billion in profits last year. Tonight, as we speak, right now, 500,000 Americans are sleeping out on the street. And yet companies like Amazon that made billions did not pay one nickel.
Gonna talk over it. The problem though, like Elizabeth Warren, for example, and that's why she's kind of bad. Well, not that, a lot of other reasons too. But she was just like, she's fighting. She looks like she's gonna go for impeachment, or at least that's kind of like it sounds like. Like everybody's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like she's gonna go for impeachment when the question arises. The volume is bearable. Okay, cool. Bearable.
To not only defeat Trump, but to transform our economy and our government.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Let's start with the number one issue for Democratic voters, health care. And Senator Sanders, let's start with you. You support Medicare for All, which would eventually take private health insurance away from more than 150 million Americans.
Okay. Oh.
Calling it out for what it is, right?
Yeah, he just slammed him.
Previously, he has called the idea political suicide that will just get President Trump reelected. What do you say to Congressman Delaney?
You're wrong.
Okay.
Right now, we have a dysfunctional healthcare system. 87 million uninsured or underinsured. $500,000 Americans every year going bankrupt because of medical bills. 30,000 people.
Political suicide.
The healthcare industry makes tens of billions of dollars in profit. 5 minutes away from here, John, is a country. It's called Canada. They guarantee
It's called Canada.
and child as a human right. They spend by the way, when you end up in a hospital in Canada, you come out with no bill at all. Healthcare is a human right, not a privilege. I believe that. I will fight for that.
Here's my problem with Medicare for all. It's like all the countries that have it, it's more expensive for other things. Also, your tax money is going into it, which is okay, but at the same time, you're paying for other people's Medicare, and there's no incentive for better health to keep yourself healthy. That's one of the downsides. There's also the downside of, you're paying for other people's Medicare. It's just like, at this point, I'd rather have it individualized. But it's still in a bad place. I wouldn't say it's in a good place yet, but it needs work. But I don't think Medicare for all is the solution.
Yeah.
People lose their health insurance every single year when they change jobs, when their employer changes that insurance. If you want stability in the healthcare system, if you want a system which gives you freedom of choice with regard to doctor or hospital.
Bernie Sanders likes yelling a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He likes yelling, but he also likes being terrible when there's any remotely good candidates on the stage. Yeah, he's right. He's totally right. Yeah, he's right. Let's go.
He is right about that.
See? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You just said that.
Yeah.
You just said that, June. I watched you. I'll pull up the clip at the end of the stream if you want me to, Elizabeth.
But you exceeded your time, and so let me just stay with you on Medicare for all. All right. At the last debate, you said your quote with Bernie Medicare for all. Now, Senator Sanders has said that people in the middle class will pay more in taxes to help pay for Medicare for all, though that will be offset by the elimination of insurance premiums and other costs. Are you also quote with Bernie on Medicare for all when it comes to raising taxes on middle class Americans to pay for it?
Giant corporations and billionaires are going to pay more. Middle class families are going to pay less out of pocket for their health care.
That's probably not true, is it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a rich person, it's so easy to go through loopholes so that you don't really have to pay taxes. Like, if these people haven't figured that out yet, it's kind of sad. Okay, she's...
He talks about what it's like to go online with thousands of other people to beg friends, family, and strangers for money so he can cover his medical expenses. The basic profit model of an insurance company is taking as much money as you can in premiums and pay out as little as possible in health care coverage. That is not working for Americans across this country.
Thank you, Senator.
Medicare for all will fix that, and that's why I'll fight for it.
Just a point of clarification in 15 extra seconds. Would you raise taxes on the middle class to pay for Medicare for all, offset obviously by the elimination of insurance premiums? Yes or no?
Costs will go up for billionaires.
You already said that.
Don't you hate when...
I hate it when they dodge questions. It's so annoying.
They immediately do not answer with a yes or a no.
It wasn't... It was like the one guy, he was like... They completely dodged the questions. It's so annoying.
I hate that.
I know. Wasn't this guy not even debating in the last debates? Because he scored so low. I think he scored so low that he had to get lotto ticketed in.
drug prices. Indy. Thank you, Governor Bullock. I want to bring in Mayor Buttigieg on the topic of whether or not the middle class should pay higher taxes in exchange for.
You're really loud and the debate is really quiet. Yeah, okay.
How do you respond, Mayor?
So we don't have to stand up here
You can just talk quieter, I guess.
Public option will be better than, or a Medicare
Oh, wait.
for all environment will be better than the corporate options. We can put it to the
Let me
test.
try something.
That's the concept of my Medicare for all who want to propose.
Try
That way,
lowering it.
people like me are right that the public alternative is going to be not only more comprehensive but more affordable than any of the corporate options around there. We'll see Americans walk away from the corporate options into that Medicare option, and it will become Medicare for all without us having to kick anybody off.
Just 15 seconds on the clarification.
I'll lower my output volume.
Taxes on middle class Americans in order to
Tell me if that does a little bit better.
with the disappearance of insurance premiums. Yes or no?
I think you can buy into it. That's the idea of Medicare for all who want to. Look, this is a distinction without a difference, whether you're paying the same money in the form of taxes or premiums. Look, in this country, if you have health coverage, if you don't have health coverage, you're paying too much for care. And if you do have health coverage, you're paying too much for care.
I want to bring in Congressman O'Rourke.
Wait.
The topic of whether the middle class should pay higher taxes
What?
for universal coverage and the elimination of insurance premiums. What's your response?
The answer is no. The middle class will not pay more in taxes in order to ensure that every American is guaranteed world-class health care. I think we're being offered a false choice. Some who want to improve the Affordable Care Act at the margins, others who want a Medicare for all program that will force people off of private insurance. I have a better path. Medicare for America. Everyone who's uninsured is enrolled in Medicare tomorrow. Those who are insufficiently insured are enrolled in Medicare.
Just 15 seconds.
And those who have employer-sponsored
Who's offering a
Jake,
false
this is
choice
important.
here? Who's offering a false choice here?
You have some. Governor Bullock, who said that we will improve the Affordable Care Act at the margins with a public option. You have others to my right who are talking about taking away people's choice for the private insurance they have, or members of unions. I was listening to Dean Taylor in Nevada. His members.
The shaking of the heads.
Congressman, not at all. You know, it took us decades, false starts, to get the Affordable Care Act. So let's actually build on it.
If you notice, last debate the candidates were not fighting with themselves as much, but this time you're seeing them just make a desperate maneuver to kind of go after each other, kind of the moderates versus the more the guys that are far left.
Yeah.
But because this is the last chance they have, you know, the debates in September and stuff, you have to have much higher polling numbers to even get into these.
Yeah.
This is the last, you know, crowded debate we're gonna see, if you will.
Yeah, it is. Also, is it possible to take your headphones out? Cause if not, then that's fine. But yeah, the debate's just really low volume, so whenever we talk, it's like you can't hear it at all.
If I take my headphones off,
Yeah.
then there's gonna be the audio coming in from your laptop of the debate, and it's gonna be from my laptop as well. Try it.
In the last debate, she said, the
How's
politicians
this?
who are not supporting Medicare for all simply lack the will to fight for it. You do not support Medicare for all. Senator Warren,
This is as loud as it goes.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, you can put your headphones back in. Yeah, okay. That's tough. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Candidates say that it's somehow not moral if you, not moral to not have that public option. Well, Senator Sanders was actually on a public option bill last year, and that was Bernie, the Medicaid public option bill that Senator Schatz introduced. Clearly, this is the easiest way to move forward quickly, and I want to get things done. People can't wait. I've got my friend Nicole out there whose son has actually died trying to ration his insulin as a restaurant manager, and he died because he didn't have enough money to pay for it. And Bernie and I have worked on pharmaceutical issues together. We can get less expensive drugs.
Senator Sanders, then
The
Senator Warren.
author of the Medicare bill, let me clear up one thing. If people talk about the end of the day. And by the way, the healthcare industry will be advertising tonight on this program. Thank you, Senator Warren, it's your turn. Oh, can I complete that, please? Your time is advertising tonight. No talking point. Senator Warren.
So we have to think of this in terms of the big frame.
Can you mix your volume in your settings?
Can I what?
Can you like mix your volume so that your microphone input is not as loud as the screen or something?
I'll try.
These insurance companies do not have a God-given right to make $23 billion in profits and suck it out of our healthcare system. They do not have a God-given right to put forms in place that it will put everyone off of their insurance.
If we could all just stick to the rules of the time, that would be great.
Yeah, everybody, stick to the rules of the time. Is this better? Stream, let me know. Also, Isaiah, does this sound better or quieter?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, I turned it down to like 50%. Okay, cool.
It doesn't go far enough. I'm proposing universal health care where everyone gets health care as a basic human right for free.
Okay.
But they have choices. My plan, Better Care, is fully paid for without raising middle class tax on it. So when we think about this debate, there's Medicare for all, which is extreme.
I want to bring in Governor Hickenlooper. Governor Hickenlooper, I'd like
I liked where he was going. I wanted to see his plan, but okay.
I know, stop cutting these guys off. I mean,
Dude.
let them talk for a little bit.
will to fight for it.
Well, obviously, I disagree with that as much as I respect both of the senators to my right. You know, I think it comes down to that question of Americans being used to being able to make choices, to have the right to make a decision. And I think proposing a public option that allows...
I think it is a radical idea saying you're not going to have a public option. We're going to abolish the public option. You basically have to do our system. It does seem kind of un-American, right?
Yeah, it's a bit, I don't know. I like the choice. Like, you can do what you want, you know? That way...
Yeah.
We have tried this experiment with the insurance
Like-
companies. And what they've done is they've sucked billions of dollars out of our healthcare system.
Alright, cool, it's better.
People
The sound.
fight to try to get the healthcare coverage that their doctors and nurses say that they need. Why does every doctor, why does every hospital have to fill out so many complicated forms? It's because it gives insurance companies a chance to say no and to push that cost back on the patients.
Thank you, Senator.
That's
I want to
what
bring
we
in
have to fight.
Marianne Williamson. Ms. Williamson, how do you respond?
Marianne Williamson.
Oh, hello.
Hi, author.
I don't know if Senator Warren said that about me specifically. I admire very much what Senator Warren has said and what Bernie has said. But I have to say, I'm normally way over there with Bernie and Elizabeth on this one. I hear the others, and I have some concern about that as well. And I do have concern about what the Republicans would say. That's not just a Republican talking point. I do have concern that it will be difficult. I have concern that it will make it harder to win. And I have concern that it will make it harder to govern. Because if that's our big fight, then the Republicans will so...
Oh, cutting her off already.
Man, you let the author talk like once and then you cut her off. Come on.
5 seconds, yeah.
Like,
embrace a far-left agenda, they're going to say we're a bunch of crazy socialists. If we embrace a conservative
exactly.
agenda, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say we're a bunch of crazy socialists. So let's just stand up for the right
What?
policy.
No, that's not how that works, but okay.
Policy I'm putting forward, not because I think it's the right triangulation between Republicans here and Democrats here, because I think it's the right answer for people like my mother-in-law, who is here, whose life was saved by the ACA, but who is still far too vulnerable to the fact that the insurance industry...
These candidates are using, like, anecdotes a lot. Like,
They're all using anecdotes,
in
man.
the audience today, and she needs Medicare for all.
You're right. Honestly, though, like, it's kind of their job to have anecdotes, so it makes sense.
The drug companies and the insurance companies have spent
I always tune out when Bernie Sanders is kind of yelling at the people.
Yeah.
It gets old. He says the same stuff. I mean, honestly. Just from an objective perspective, I don't think he's an appealing candidate to anyone.
Yeah, me neither. Last year, he was better than Hillary, and I don't know why the heck she beat him, but he's just bad this year. Oh, hey, Tim Ryan.
Tell those union members who gave away wages in order to get good health care, that they're going to lose their health care because Washington's going to come in and tell them they got a better plan. This is the left and right thing. New and better is this. Move Medicare down to 50. Allow people to buy in. Kaiser Permanente said that if those 60 million people do that, they will see a 40% reduction in their health care costs. Let businesses buy in, Jake.
So, Senator, let's talk about that. If Medicare for All is enacted, there are more than 600,000 union members here in Michigan.
I don't like the job that these moderators are doing. I don't think they're doing a good job here.
Like NBC,
it seems like someone's talking for 5 seconds and then they cut them off. And
yeah.
It doesn't flow.
I mean, NBC, like, they just let them say whatever they wanted, which maybe wasn't the best, but I mean, I liked it more than this.
Medicare for all is comprehensive, covers all healthcare needs for senior citizens. It will finally include dental care, hearing aids, and eyeglasses. Second of all, I do know when I wrote the damn bill.
No.
Whoa.
Whoa, shots fired.
Many of our union brothers and sisters, nobody more pro-union than me up here, are now paying high deductibles and co-payments. And when we do Medicare for all, instead of having the company putting money into healthcare, they can get decent wage increases, which they're not getting today.
I want to bring in Congressman Ryan to respond to what Senator Sanders just said.
Senator Sanders does not know all of the union contracts in the United States. I'm trying to explain that these union members are losing their jobs. Their wages have been stagnant. The world is crumbling around them. The only thing they have is possibly really good health care. And the Democratic message is going to be, we're going to go in, and the only thing you have left, we're going to take it, and we're going to do better. I do not think that's a recipe for success for us.
Yeah.
It's policy, and it's certainly bad politics.
This debate is really exposing the differences between the moderates and the pro-left guys on the podium.
Yeah.
Because it says specifically that the rates will be the same as current Medicare rates. And the data is clear. Medicare does not cover the cost of health care. It covers 80% of the cost of health care in this country. And private insurance covers 120%. So if you start underpaying all the health care providers, you're going to create a two-tier market where wealthy people buy their health care with cash, and the people who are forced, like my dad, the union electrician...
Like my dad. There you go. Anecdote. It's anecdote time.
Medicare for all, the hospitals will save substantial sums of money because they're not going to be spending a fortune doing billing and the other bureaucratic things that they have to do today. Second of all, maybe you did that and made money off of healthcare, but our job is to run a non-profit health.
Oof.
Furthermore,
Shots fired.
we save $500 billion a year by ending all of the incredible complexities that are driving every American crazy trying to deal with the health insurance company. Hospitals will be better off than they are today.
His math is wrong. That's all I'm saying. That his math is wrong. It's been well documented that if all the bills were paid at Medicare rate, which is specifically, I think it's in section 1200 of their bill, then many hospitals in this country would close. I've been going around rural America, and I asked rural hospital administrators one question. If all your bills were paid at the Medicare rate last year, what would happen? And they all look at me and say,
Hey. It just froze. Okay, it just froze for a second. Isaiah? Isaiah?
Sorry, I got disconnected for a second. Am I back on?
Yeah, you're back. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, did my computer freeze? No, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, stream. Yeah, alright. Yeah, just pull it back up whenever you can. Yeah, but is it for you? CNN, like, is super laggy, right?
It's not too laggy on my end, no.
Oh, okay. I don't know, it's just like...
So in my view, if fraud is involved,
Oh, weird.
it's suitable for the criminal statute.
For me.
If not, then it should be handled under civil law.
We're doing immigration now. Okay.
The way that this race is being
Mexico border in El Paso. You disagree with Mayor Buttigieg on decriminalizing legal border crossings. Please respond.
I do, because in my administration, after we have waived citizenship fees for green card holders, more than 9 million of our fellow Americans, freed dreamers from any fear of deportation, and stopped criminally prosecuting families and children for seeking asylum and refuge, and for-profit detention in this country, and then assist those countries in Central America so that no family ever has to make that 2,000-mile journey, then I expect that people who come here follow our laws, and we reserve the right to criminally prosecute them
Thank
if they
you,
do not.
Congressman. Senator Warren, you say the provision making illegal border crossings a crime is totally unnecessary. Please respond.
So the problem is that right now, the criminalization statute is what gives Donald Trump the ability to take children away from their parents. It's what gives him the ability to lock up people at our borders. We need to continue to have border security, and we can do that. But what we can't do is not live our values. I've been down to the border. I have seen the mothers. I have seen the cages of babies. We must be a country that every day lives our values, and that means we cannot make it a crime when someone comes here.
I-
Just to clarify, would you decriminalize illegal border crossings?
The point is not
Wait, did...
about
Alright, I'm gonna talk over it. Did she just say that we should not... Okay, I don't...
She said we should decriminalize every immigration, all immigration, yeah.
Okay.
Illegal immigration.
All illegal, yeah.
Secure the borders, make sure whatever law we have doesn't allow children to be snatched from their parents.
Problem is, here's my problem with immigration. There has to be some sort of bar. Because then it gets to the point where there's no benefit for the normal citizen as to an illegal immigrant.
Well, and one way to fix it is to decriminalize. That's the whole point. What we're looking for here is a way to take away the tool that Donald Trump has used to break up families.
Thanks, Warren. Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with a wall as long as there's stuff being done afterwards to help. I'd rather have a helpful wall rather than a wall to help America, if you get what I'm saying. Because I'd rather have a wall to deter people from going across a river and possibly drowning than having a wall to keep people out of the country, if you get what I'm saying. Even though it does, you know, both things. I'd like to have it like that.
And most of all, it will allow for a path to citizenship, because this is not just about the border. Donald Trump wants to use these people as political pawns. When we have people all over our country that simply want to work and obey the law.
Senator Sanders, you want to provide undocumented immigrants free health care and free college. Why won't this drive even more people to come to the U.S. illegally?
Anything we fix will just lead to another problem, yeah.
But the main point I want to make is that what Trump is doing through his racism and his xenophobia is demonizing a group of people. And as president, I will end that demonization. If a mother and a child walk thousands of miles on a dangerous path, in my view, they are not criminals. They are people fleeing violence. And I think the main thing that we've got to do, among many others, Beto made this point, we've got to ask ourselves, why are people walking 2,000 miles to a strange country where they don't know the language? So what we will do the first week we are in the White House is bring the entire hemisphere together to talk about how we rebuild Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador so people do not have to flee their own countries.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Bullock.
Okay. That's good. That's... Yeah, that's fair.
Health insurance to undocumented immigrants. You haven't gone that far. Why not?
Look, I think this is a part of the discussion that shows how often these debates are detached from people's lives. We got 100,000 people showing up at the border right now. If we decriminalize entry, if we get health care to everyone, we'll have multiples of that. Don't take my word. That was President Obama's...
Both the immigration problems. Oh. Yeah.
The biggest problem right now that we have with immigration is Donald Trump. He's using immigration to not only rip apart families, but rip apart this country. We can actually get to the point where we have both safe borders, where we
the judgment and the decency to treat someone that comes to the border like one of our own.
You know, I just want to add on this. He just said your plan is unrealistic. How do you respond? You know, I think what we have to do is we have to be an America that is clear about what we want to do with immigration. We need to expand legal immigration. We need to create a path for citizenship, not just for dreamers, but for grandmas and for people who have been working here in the farms and for students who have overstayed their visas. We need to fix the crisis at the border. And a big part of how we do that is we do not play into Donald Trump's hands. But he wants to stir up the crisis at the border because that's his overall message. If there's anything wrong in your life, thank you, Senator Warren. Governor Bullock, your response.
I like how it's like somebody's like, I don't want to decriminalize stuff. You're a racist. Like, come on.
The challenge is that Donald Trump is president and using this to rip families apart. A sane immigration system needs a sane leader, and we can do that without decriminalizing, providing health care for everyone.
You agree? I mean, it's right. We don't need to decriminalize illegal immigration, right?
Yeah, I mean, people
Saying is ignore the law. Laws matter. And it matters if we say our law is that we will lock people up who come here seeking refuge, who come here seeking asylum.
They may come here seeking asylum, but if they come here illegally, there has to be a bar. That's the problem.
I agree, yeah.
There has to be a bar somewhere. I don't... Because if there's not going to be a bar, then what's the point of having... Why don't we just have open borders? Because... and then people will be like, of course not, because there's gangs right there. Well, you know.
We have asylum laws. I saw the kids up in Grand Rapids, not far from here. It is shameful what's happening, but Donald Trump is doing it. And even if you decriminalize, which we should not do, you still have statutory authority. The president still uses authority to separate families. So we've got to get rid of Donald Trump. But you don't decriminalize people just walking into the United States. If they're seeking asylum, of course we want to welcome them. We're a strong enough country to be able to welcome them. And as far as the healthcare goes, undocumented people can buy healthcare too. I mean, everyone else in America is paying for their healthcare. I don't think it's a stretch for us to ask undocumented people in the country to also pay for healthcare.
Senator Sanders, your response.
Well, two things. A sane immigration policy moves the
What the heck was Beauty Gag just doing? Like, puts his finger out like he's gonna shoot somebody in the crowd. Like, what the heck?
judges so that we don't have the incredible backlogs that we have right now. But to answer your question, I happen to believe that when I talk about healthcare as a human right, that applies to all people in this country. And under a Medicare for all single-payer system, we could afford to do that.
Senator Sanders, thank you. Ms. Williamson, your response.
Everything that we're talking about here tonight is what's wrong with American politics. And the Democratic Party needs to understand that we should be the party that talks not just about symptoms, but also about causes. When we're talking about health care, we need to talk about more than just the health care plan. We need to realize we have a sickness care rather than a health care system. We need to be the party talking about why so many of our chemical policies and our food policies and our agricultural policies and our environmental policies and even our economic policies are leading to people getting sick to begin with. That's what the Democratic... But I want to say...
Honestly, this is why I like her. She brings up things that nobody else would bring up.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Let's turn now to the issue of gun violence. There were 3 large-scale shootings this past weekend in America. At a park in Brooklyn, on the streets of Philadelphia, and one that left 3 dead and 12 injured at a food festival in Gilroy, California. Mayor Buttigieg, other than offering words of comfort, what are you specifically going to do to stop this epidemic of gun violence?
Well, this epidemic of gun violence has hit my community too, far too many times. It's the worst part of being mayor, getting the phone call, consoling grieving parents. And we have a mass shootings worth of killings every day in this country. What we're doing hasn't worked because we haven't had a system in Washington capable...
Well, you're the mayor of your town. I mean, you could have done something about it, right?
Want universal background checks, not to mention the common
Yeah,
sense solutions like red flag laws that disarm domestic abusers and flag mental health risks, and an end
to assault weapons, things like what I carried overseas in uniform that have no business in American neighborhoods in peacetime, let alone anywhere near a school. I was at an event a few days ago, and a 13-year-old asked me what we were going to do about school safety, and then began shaking, and then began crying. And we could talk about these policies, but we already know the policies. The only thing I could think of looking into the eyes of this child is, we're supposed to be dealing with this so you don't have to. High school is hard enough without having to worry about whether you're going to get shot. And when 90% of Americans want something to happen, and Washington can't deliver, we can't expect.
Thank you, Mayor. Governor Hickenlooper, your response, please.
I disagree with his
Please stand by,
diagnosis
Senator.
of the problem.
Please stick to the.
Why don't we just arm teachers? I said this last time.
Governor Hickenlooper, please respond. Well, this is the fundamental nonsense of government. Another thing, another place where, despite our best efforts, we can't seem to make any progress. You know, when I went to the movie theater in Aurora in 2012 and saw that footage of what happened at crime scene, I'll never forget it. And we decided, you know, that we were going to go out and take on the NRA, and we passed, as a purple state, we passed universal background checks. We limited magazine capacity. We did the basic work that, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to be able to get done in Washington.
This isn't just about a system, or it's not just about words. This is about the NRA. I sat across from the President of the United States after Parkland because I've been a leader on these issues and have the bill to close the boyfriend loophole. And I watched and wrote down when 9 times he said he wanted universal background checks. The next day he goes and he meets with the NRA and he folds. As your president, I will not fold. I will make sure that we get universal background checks passed, the assault weapon ban, that we do something about magazines, and that we understand when that little 6-year-old boy died, Stephen Romero, when his dad said he's only 6 years old, all I can say is he's 6 years old. We have to remember that.
All right.
That same conversation we've been having since I was.
I'm gonna talk over for a second. One, assault weapons, you need to be more specific. You can't just say all assault weapons. You gotta be more specific.
Yes.
Cause also, AR-15s, the A stands for Armalite, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you can't just say assault weapons. You have to be more specific. For 2, why don't we just arm teachers? Like, I said this in the last, stream from, like, a month ago, like, arm teachers, make them take extra training because they're going to be flustered, obviously. It's also going to be a room full of students, so they got to, you know, be able to navigate and all that fear and everything and not shoot a student, but shoot the actual school shooter. And then don't let any of the kids know which teachers are armed. That way, when a shooter comes into the building, he doesn't know which person to take out first. It just makes it like, there you go. The shooter's dead before he has a chance to do anything. Or he might do damage, but he'll go down.
How can Democrats come here to be the leader on this fight for gun safety when you only changed your position to call for an assault weapons ban last summer?
They're like 40% of American households. I'm a gun owner. I hunt. Like far too many people in America, I've been personally impacted by gun violence. I had an 11-year-old nephew, Jeremy, shot and killed on a playground. We need to start looking at this as a public health issue, not a political issue. I agree with Senator Klobuchar. It is the NRA. And it's not just gun violence. So when we talk about climate, when we talk about prescription drug costs, Washington, D.C. is captured by dark money, the Koch brothers, and others. That's been the fight of my career. Kicking the Koch brothers out of Montana, taking the first case after Citizens United up to the Supreme Court, making it so that elections are about people. That's the way we're actually going to make the change on this stuff, is by changing that system. And most of the things that folks are talking about on the stage, we're not going to address until we kick dark money and the post-Citizens United corporate spending out of these elections.
Congressman O'Rourke, what your response?
How else can we explain that we lose nearly 40,000 people in this country to gun violence, a number that no other country comes even close to, that we know what all the solutions are and yet nothing has changed? It is because in this country, money buys influence, access, and increasingly outcomes the Centers for Disease Control prevented from actually studying the issue in the first place. As president, we will make sure that we ban political action committee contributions to any member of Congress or any candidate for federal office. We will listen to people, not PACs, people, not corporations, people, not special interests.
Congressman, thank you very much. Senator Sanders, you said this in 2013, just months after the Sandy Hook massacre, and I quote you, "If you pass the strongest gun control legislation tomorrow, I don't think it will have a profound effect on the tragedies we have seen." Do you still agree with that statement today?
I think we have got to do, I think what I meant is what President Obama said, and that nobody up here is going to tell you that we have the magical solution to the crisis. Now, I come from one of the most rural states in America. I have a D- voting record from the NRA, and as president, I suspect it will be an F record. What I believe we have got to do is have the guts to finally take on the NRA. Yes, being my record back in 1988, coming from a state that had no gun control, I called for the ban of the sale and distribution of assault weapons. I lost that election.
Be more specific than assault weapons, please. Oh my gosh. Honestly, though, I'll bet the majority of these people are gonna call an assault weapon an AR-15, so, you know, what can you do?
Still the conversation that we've been having for the last 20 years. Of course we need to get money out of politics. But when I propose the actual structural democratic reforms that might make a difference, end the electoral college, amend the Constitution if necessary to clear up Citizens United, have D.C. actually be a state, and depoliticize the Supreme Court with structural reform, people look at me funny, as if this country were incapable of structural reform. Does anybody really think we're going to overtake Citizens United without constitutional action? This is a country that once changed its constitution so you couldn't drink, and then change it back because we changed our minds about that. And you're telling me we can't reform our democracy in our time?
Thank you, Mayor.
We have to, or we'll be having the same argument 20 years from now.
Please respond, Governor Fuller.
You can make changes. Even in Montana, with a two-thirds Republican legislature, we passed a law that said you're going to spend money in our elections. I don't care if you call yourself Americans for America, you're going to have to disclose every one of those dollars in the last 90 days. I'll never forget run for re-election in 2016. Even we stopped the Koch brothers from spending at that time. If we could kick the Koch brothers out of Montana,
That is 2020?
we could do it every time. And we're also taking steps, additional steps.
Okay.
Thank you. Contract with the
Governor Bullock, thank you very much. Ms. Williamson, how do you respond to this issue of gun safety?
issue of gun safety, of course, is that the NRA has us in a chokehold. But so do the pharmaceutical companies, so do the health insurance companies, so do the fossil fuel companies, and so do the defense contractors. And none of this will change until we either pass a constitutional amendment or pass legislation that establishes public funding for federal campaigns. But for politicians, including my fellow candidates, who themselves have taken tens of thousands and in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars from these same corporate donors, to think that they now have the moral authority to say, we're going to take them on, I don't think the Democratic Party should be surprised that so many Americans believe yada, yada, yada. It is time for us to start over with people who have not taken donations from any of these corporations and can say with real moral authority, that is over. We are going to establish.
She's not doing it for me in this debate. I don't know.
I feel like she's trying to spark conversation. I think she's done a decent job overall. But okay, short break. Alright, cool. I don't think we should arm teachers. One of the problems are crazy kids. Yeah, so, I mean, with the crazy kids, though, like, you could work on helping the crazy kids, but also, oh, you might want to keep it in full screen and then just... Oh, you're checking chat, okay. Yeah, I mean, you can help the crazy kids, but also you need something for if you're in that situation, I feel like, because, like, if a kid's running through a school with a weapon, killing people, it's going to take more time for the 1 or 2 cops in the whole high school building, let's say it's a high school, to get there and take care of the threat than it is for a teacher that's in the room to just take him out. I mean, it's unfortunate that we've gotten to this point, but we have to take precautions, and if that means killing a kid that might have been a student. I mean, he's killing other people, so he's a threat. So, yeah, that's why I'd say that. Sanders 2020, eh, that's okay if you want to support him. Me personally, I don't think he's shown up very well.
I don't really have a standout from this debate so far.
Not
I think
yet.
A couple people have faded into the background, but
It's
like the last debate we had, it was everyone was saying Kamala Harris has really ran away with this. This debate, no one's really stood out. I mean,
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren, she hasn't really stood out to me. Bernie Sanders has done a lot of yelling as usual. But some of the moderates who I think maybe have proposed a good option
The
for
kids,
someone to vote for, other than,
kids taking
big candidates like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders,
yeah, that is true. I mean, it's just like a lot of these people have faded. They're like people that have faded into the background. Also, check if we're back on. Check the CNN stream. They're probably live by now. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a lot of people that faded into the background. I'm curious to see, honestly, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris go at it again. But I don't want Joe to hold back like he did a month ago because it made him look bad. He wanted to look disciplined and it didn't work. So I want him to just lash out and just take her out like he does, because that's what he does well in debates, and he didn't do it last time. So that's why Kamala Harris is like the #1 candidate right now, because he didn't lash out.
Yeah, really the only storyline going into tomorrow night is Bernie Sanders versus Kamala Harris and a bunch of other candidates who we don't really know well trying to distinguish themselves.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the headline coming out of tomorrow night's debate is, but Bernie Sanders really has to come up with a strong performance tomorrow.
Well, Bernie Sanders, he's not going tomorrow, is he? It's Joe Biden, right?
Oh, I mean Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
the kid's taking the teacher's weapon. There's a kid in Milford who threatened to shoot the school and brought in a knife. Huh. I mean, if he's threatening to shoot the school, then people should be ready, to take him in. The police should be ready to take him in as soon as he arrives. Threatened to shoot a school, that's not like a thing that you joke around about. He should have been, yeah, cops should have been ready for him. Also, kids taking the teacher's weapon. Yeah, that is a downside. That is something that could happen. Thing with that, though, like, that may happen, but at the same time, I feel like it's gonna happen less than it's gonna actually save people, save lives, because I mean, if a kid goes for a gun, I don't know. Also, teachers, that's why I said children shouldn't know if teachers are armed or not. I know that might be hard to do, but I feel like there could be precautions taken to make it so that it's, less, people know less about it. Like, not everybody's like, oh, that teacher has a gun. No, it's like, hidden. Yeah, that could happen. That is a possibility. But yeah, he brought in a knife, yeah. Did the police take him in? Also, I think, are they still on commercial break? Isaiah, are they still on commercial break?
Let me see.
Oh, do they not like ad blockers?
Don't.
That's
Here we go.
unfortunate. Man. CNN out there wanting their money. Man, wanting that monetization. People watching them ads.
Alright, it looks like we're back. I'm gonna full screen this here. One second.
Cool.
Pennsylvania. And the reason we are going to defeat Trump and beat him badly
They search him every day. Yeah, that's good. They should.
The American people want to pay reasonable prices for prescription drugs, not the highest price in the world. I've helped lead the effort for that as well.
Governor Hickenlooper, I want to bring you back to respond.
So, again, I think if we're going to force Americans to make these radical changes, they're not going to go along. You throw your hands up, but you haven't
Dude, Sanders is like. Dude, he just throw his hands up. Oh my.
Senator Sanders, John, I was a mayor, and I helped transform my city. I have some practical experience. Second of all, interestingly enough,
I think it's about to freeze. Oh, okay, cool.
54 years ago, under Lyndon Johnson and the Democratic Congress, they started a new program after 1 year, 19 million elderly people in it. Please don't tell me that in a 4-year period, we cannot go from 65 down to 55 to 45 to 35. This is not radical. This is what virtually every other country on earth does. We are.
Thank you, Senator.
I want
to bring you Congressman Ryan. You're from the state of Ohio. It's a state that voted twice for Obama and then went to President Trump in 2016. Please respond to Senator.
I would just say Hillary Clinton was winning in the polls too. To take a snapshot in the polls today and apply it 16 months from now, whenever it is, I don't think is accurate. Now, in this discussion,
Very true. Very true.
about taking private health insurance away from union members in the industrial Midwest.
It's been like 4 years, almost.
And we've talked about giving free health care to undocumented workers when so many Americans are struggling to pay for their health care. I quite frankly don't think that is an agenda that we can move forward on and win. We've got to talk about the working class issues, the people that take a shower after work who haven't had a raise in 30 years. If we focus on that, we'll win the election.
That's right. He's right.
Bert was talking about some of the battleground states, which there's a new battleground state, Texas, and it has 38 electoral college votes. And the way that we put it in play was by going to each one of those 254 counties. No matter how red or rural, we did not write you off. No matter how blue or urban, we did not take you for granted, and we didn't trim our sails either. We had the courage of our convictions, talking about universal health care, comprehensive immigration reform, and confronting the challenge of climate before it is too late. We brought everyone in, and now we have a chance to beat Donald Trump with Texas.
Thank you, Congressman. I want to bring Governor Bullock. We're talking about whether Democrats are moving too far to the left to win the White House. President Trump won your home state of Montana by 20 points. How do you respond, sir?
Yes, he only one of the field of 37 that actually won a Trump state. 25 to 30% of my voters voted for Donald Trump. I know that we do have to win back some of those places we lost and get those Trump voters back. We're ever going to win. But this isn't just a choice between the left and the center. It's not a choice just between sort of these wish list economics or thinking that we have to sacrifice our values to actually win. What folks want is a fair shot. The way I won, the way we can win is to actually focus on the economy and democracy on working people. That's how I win. That's how we can take back.
Senator Warren, you make it a point to say that you're a capitalist. Is that your way of convincing voters that you might be a safer choice than Senator Sanders?
Well, it is my way of talking about I know how to fight and I know how to win. And I beat them. I took on Wall Street and CEOs and their lobbyists and their lawyers, and I beat them. I took on a popular Republican incumbent senator, and I beat him. I remember when people said Barack Obama couldn't get elected. Shoot, I remember when people said Donald Trump couldn't get elected. But here's where we are. I get it. There is a lot at stake, and people are scared. But we can't choose a candidate we don't believe in just because we're too scared to do anything else. And we can't ask other people to vote for a candidate we don't believe in. Democrats win when we figure out what is right and we get out there and fight for it. I am not afraid. And for Democrats to win, you can't be afraid either.
Congressman Delaney, your response?
Okay. Honestly, though, I think she's correct in calling herself a capitalist because freaking Bernie Sanders is out there and he's like, yeah, I'm a socialist, and then he tries to, like, come up with the different facets of socialism, which, no, you can't do that. Not with Trump. He's gonna abuse it.
We need to encourage collaboration between the government, the private sector, and the nonprofit sector, and focus
And I think the majority of people know that.
practical issues that matter to hardworking Americans: building infrastructure, creating jobs, improving their pay, creating universal health care, lowering drug prices.
Senator Warren.
Do it.
You know, I don't understand why anybody goes to all the trouble of running for president of the United States just to talk about what we really can't do and shouldn't fight for.
Awkward smile.
Problem in Washington is corruption. It is giant corporations that have taken our government and that are holding it by the throat. And we need to have the courage to fight back against that. And until we're ready to do that,
Is it just me, or is it like Elizabeth Warren is getting so much more time than everybody else?
Oh, I'm sure the moderators love her. Yeah.
Like, this guy's watch him, he's gonna get cut off in like 10 seconds.
You called it.
But I also believe we need to have solutions that are workable. Can you imagine if we tried to start Social Security now, but said private pensions are illegal? That's the equivalent of what Senator Sanders and Senator Warren are proposing with healthcare. That's not a big idea. That's an idea that's dead on arrival. That will never happen. So why don't we actually talk about things, big ideas that we can get done? The stakes are too high.
Yep. Cut them off.
He's still got to talk about the same amount of time, but yeah, they've been cutting everybody off except for her. They let her run so long.
Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance. And what have the private insurance companies done? They've sucked billions of dollars out of our healthcare system. They've made everybody fill out dozens and dozens of forms. Why? Not because they're trying to track your healthcare. They just want one more excuse to say no. Insurance companies do not have a God-given right to suck money out of our healthcare system.
Thank you, Senator.
And 2020 is our chance to stop
Senator
that.
Sanders.
Detroit was mentioned, and I'm delighted that Detroit is rebounding. But let us understand, Detroit was nearly destroyed because of awful trade policy, which allowed corporations to throw workers in this community out on the street as they move to low-wage countries. To win this election and to defeat Donald Trump, which, by the way, in my view, is not going to be easy, we need to have a campaign of energy and excitement and of vision. We need to bring millions of young people into the political process in a way that we have never seen by, among other things, making public colleges and universities tuition-free and canceling student debt.
Thank you, Senator. I want to bring in Senator Klobuchar. At the beginning of the night, you said you're going to hear a lot of promises on the stage. And previously, you have said, when asked about your primary opponents, quote, a lot of people are making promises, and I'm not going to make promises to get elected. Who on the stage is making promises just to get elected?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Everyone wants to get elected. But my point is this. I think when we have a guy in the White House that has now told over 10,000 lies, that we better be very straightforward with the American people. And no, do I think that we are going to end up voting for a plan that kicks half of America off of...
Why doesn't she call someone out about it?
She just dodged the question. Man, I want beef. I want beef. It's so
It
much...
makes you look strong if you answer it, yeah.
Like, you should be like, yeah, you know. Come on.
This argument right now, what I don't like about it at all is that we are more worried about winning an argument than winning an election. And I think how we win an election is to bring everyone with us. And yes, I am one in a state. Every single time, statewide, I have won those congressional districts that Donald Trump won by over 20 points. He just targeted me. I've done it by getting out there and talking to people, by knowing rural issues and farm issues, and bringing metro people with me in the state that has the highest voter turnout in the country. That's what we want.
Congressman O'Rourke, please respond.
I think a big part of leadership and showing our commitment to the American people is delivering on our commitments. As a member of Congress, when I learned that the El Paso VA had the worst wait times for mental health care in the country, meaning that care delayed functionally became care denied, and was related to the suicide epidemic, we made it our priority and we turned around the VA in El Paso. We took that lesson nationally, and I worked with Republican and Democratic colleagues to expand mental health care to veterans, and we got it signed into law by the one person with whom I agree on almost nothing, Donald Trump, to show that at the end of the day, we will put the American people first before party, before any other concern.
Thank you, Congressman O'Rourke.
Okay, that's correct. He's right on that.
What they'd most like to hear Democrats debate. Among the topics they told us they're most interested in, the climate crisis. Congressman Delaney, I'll start with you. You say the Green New Deal is about as realistic as Trump saying Mexico is going to pay for the wall. But scientists say we need essentially to eliminate fossil fuel pollution by 2050 to avoid the most catastrophic consequences. Why isn't this sweeping plan to fight the climate crisis realistic?
Well, first of all, because it ties its progress to other things that are completely unrelated to climate, like universal health care, guaranteed government jobs, and universal basic income. So that only makes it harder to do. My plan, which gets us to net zero by 2050, which we absolutely have to do for our kids and our grandkids, will get us there. I put a price on carbon, take all the money, give it back to the American people in a dividend. That was introduced by me on a bipartisan basis. It's the only significant bipartisan climate bill in the Congress. I'm going to increase the Department of Energy research budget by fivefold because we fundamentally have to innovate our way out of this problem. I'm going to create a market for something called direct air capture, which are machines that actually take carbon out of the atmosphere, because I don't think we'll get to net zero by 2050 unless we have those things. I'm going to increase investment in renewables, and I'm going to create something called the Climate Corps. That is a plan that's realistic. It's a bet on the U.S. private innovation economy and creates the incentives to get us to net zero by 2050 for our kids.
Thank you, Congressman. Senator Warren, you're a co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. Your response to Congressman Delaney.
So, climate crisis is the existential crisis for our world. It puts every living thing on this planet at risk. I have a plan for a green industrial policy that takes advantage of the fact that we do what we do best, and that is innovate and create. So I propose putting $2 trillion in, so we do the research. We then say anyone in the world can use it, so long as you build it right here in America. That will produce about 1.2 million manufacturing jobs right here in Michigan, right here in Ohio, right here in the industrial Midwest. And the second thing we will do is we will sell those products all around the world. Right now, for every $1 the United States spends trying to market around the world, China is spending $100.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Governor Hickenlooper, you take issue with the Green New Deal. Please respond.
Well, I think the guarantee for a public job for everyone who wants one is a classic part of the problem. It's a distraction. I share the urgency of everyone up here. We have to recognize, everyone's got good ideas. What we do in this country is no better than just a best practice, right? It's what we do here is a best practice and a template, but it's got to be done all over the world. So we've got to be building bridges right now with people like China who cheating on international agreements and stealing intellectual property. We need to work on that, but not with the tariff system. We need every country working together if we're going to really deal with climate change in a realistic way.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Your response.
Look, I put a real policy on the table to create 1.2 million new jobs in green manufacturing. There's going to be a $23 trillion worldwide market for this. This could revitalize huge cities across this country, and no one wants to talk about it. What you want to do instead is find the Republican talking point of a made-up piece of some other part and say, oh, we don't really have to do anything. That's the problem we've got in Washington right now. It continues to be a Washington that works great for oil companies, just not for people worried about
Thank you, Senator Warren. Congressman Ryan, we are here in Michigan, where there are about 130,000 workers in auto manufacturing. Your state of Ohio has around 96,000 workers in that industry. Senator Sanders is co-sponsoring a bill that would eliminate new gas-powered car sales by...
Oh, you just disconnected. Isaiah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you disconnected for a second. Alright. I'll get back up.
Eliminate the battery market, make those here in the United States, and come to work with Houston on a deal.
That good?
Charging stations,
Yeah.
solar panels, same thing.
Okay.
Dominates 60% of the solar panel. This person will work in the White House, report directly to me, and we're going to start making things again. But you cannot get there on climate unless we talk about agriculture. We need to convert our industrial agriculture system over to a sustainable and regenerative agriculture system that actually sequesters carbon into the soil. And
Yeah, you're.
agriculture. So you can move away all the subsidies that we're giving to farmers. They haven't made a profit in 5 years, and we can start getting good food into our schools and into our communities. That's going to drive healthcare down. That's another part of the healthcare conversation that we didn't even have. How do we start talking about health instead of just disease care?
Thank you. Senator Sanders, your response?
I get a little bit tired of Democrats afraid of big ideas. Republicans are not afraid of big ideas. They could give $1 trillion in tax breaks to billionaires and profitable corporations. They could bail out the crooks on Wall Street. So please don't tell me that we cannot.
I don't think they necessarily know. But okay.
We do that. Here is the bottom line. We've got to ask ourselves a simple question. What do you do with an industry that knowingly, for billions of dollars in short-term profits, is destroying its life? I say that is criminal activity that cannot be allowed to
Thank you,
continue.
Senator Sanders. Congressman, your response?
Well, yeah, I would just say, I didn't say we couldn't get there till 2040, Bernie. You don't have to yell. I mean, all I'm saying is, we have to invent our way out of this thing. And if we're waiting for 2040 for a ban to come in on gasoline vehicles, we're screwed. So we better get busy now. And that's why I'm saying, get a chief manufacturing officer, align the environmental incentives with the financial incentives, and make sure that people can actually make money off of the new technologies that are moving forward. And then here's what I'll do as president: cut the worker in on the deal. Make sure these are union jobs, and I will double union membership to make sure that these new jobs pay what the old fossil fuel jobs pay.
Senator Sanders, your response.
Look, on this issue, my friends, there is no choice. We have got to be super aggressive if we love our children and if we want to leave them a planet that is healthy and is habitable. So I don't disagree with Tim. What that means is we got to A, take on the fossil fuel industry. B, it means we have to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy, and a hell of a lot of good union jobs as we do that.
I feel like everybody knows this stuff. Like, can you give an actual, like, plan, like, with statistics on what you're gonna do? Because, like, everybody knows that we need to do this stuff. Like, we know that we shouldn't have gas-powered cars. We know about this stuff. We need to have a plan, not just ideals. Thank you, Senator Warren. For what? I don't know. Chat's delayed, so I don't know.
And second of which, as we transition to this clean energy economy, you got to recognize there are folks that have spent their whole life powering our country. And far too often, Democrats sound like they're part of the problem. We got to make sure to aid in those transitions as we get to a carbon neutral world, which I think we can do by 2040.
Thank you, Governor. Just to clarify, who is part of the problem?
Did he just say that we can get a carbon neutral world by 2020?
Often when they're saying, oh, these fossil fuel industries, these workers, those coal miner workers, look, the world's changing.
Wait, Isaiah, is that what you just heard?
Often sound like the people, as Congressman Ryan would say, shower at the end of the day, that they're part of the problem. And far too many communities are being
Isaiah?
make this transition. Look,
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I hear right? He said, can we get to a carbon neutral world by 2020? He thinks we can get to a carbon neutral world by 2020.
That's about 5 months from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, me neither. Okay. I mean, you do you, man, but no.
from an objective perspective, this Green New Deal is a mess.
I think
There's a bunch of weird stuff in it, yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know. I kind of want to wait until it gets more developed and she gives, more of a plan. Because there's a lot of forged Green New Deals out there that have exaggerated things and fake things in them. So I want to see the actual thing and be able to read it.
Talk about plans that are written for press releases that will go nowhere else if we can't get a Republican to acknowledge that the climate's changing.
Congressman O'Rourke,
I've listened to scientists on this, and they're very clear. We don't have more than 10 years to get this right, and we won't meet that challenge with half steps or half measures for only half the country. We've got to bring.
Did you just say we only have 10 years?
Those I listened to in Flint last week.
Yeah, that's what he said.
They want those jobs. They want to create the future for this country and the world. Those communities.
Okay. I mean, I think climate change is a pressing issue and we definitely need to go at it, but we need to put money into figuring out how to fix it, because I feel like we don't even know how to fix it right now. None of these people have plans. They're just like, hey, we need to fix it. We need to do this and this, that. But they don't have an actual plan or statistics. Like, we need to put money...
They don't have a plan, but they have talking points like...
I would be fine...
We have to do something or we're going to die in 10 years. That's all they're saying.
Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, like, she's putting in the Green New Deal. I would rather her put all those trillions of dollars that are going to go into the New Deal into research so they can figure out how to correctly combat it. Because she's just putting stuff in. I doubt she has consulted with that many scientists. I don't trust her. I would rather her put... Thank you, Senator. Thanks, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. It's basically this whole debate in a nutshell. Yeah. I mean, it's just like we need to put money into research, not acting yet. I don't feel like we're ready to act. I don't think we know enough, or else all these people will be like, yo, we're all unified, we're doing this. But they're not. They're all separate opinions. It's all opinions. None of it's actual statistics. So...
What is your plan to address infrastructure, including water issues, so another Flint, Michigan does not happen again? Thank you, Dana. And I was just in Flint, and they are still drinking bottled water in that town. And
wait, what happened in Flint, Michigan?
So my plan, and I am the first one.
They had a water contamination crisis.
Oh.
I thought that was like 3 years ago, though.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, that was like 3 years ago. More than 3 years ago.
If anyone remembers. And then he hasn't followed through. He has done nothing. He blew up a meeting at the White House.
That's what I meant. Oh, okay.
And I would pay for it by, first of all, changing the capital gains rate, by doing something when it comes to that regressive tax bill that left everyone behind, but really made his Mar-a-Lago friends richer, as he promised. And I would take that money and put it into rural broadband and green infrastructure, so you won't have what you just saw in Detroit with the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood, the African neighborhood that was African-American neighborhood that was most hit when you had those recent rainstorms. And I truly believe that if we're going to move on infrastructure and climate change, you need a voice from the heartland. Thank you. Senator Klobuchar, Ms. Williamson, what's your response on the Flint water crisis?
My response on the Flint water crisis is that it's just the tip of the iceberg. I was recently in Denmark, South Carolina, where there is a lot of talk about it being the next Flint. We have an administration that has gutted the Clean Water Act. We have communities, particularly communities of color.
They still don't have safe running water. Okay. That's kind of stupid. I don't know how they don't. Yeah. It's been 3 years.
I'm afraid that the Democrats are going to see some very dark days. We need to say it like it is. It's bigger than Flint. It's all over this country. It's particularly people of color. It's particularly people who do not have the money to fight back.
What is she talking about? She's kind of...
Wait, wasn't she just talking about water crisis?
I don't know.
Okay. And then she just went to victimized parties of people. Oh, come on.
On racial division. How do you convince primary voters that you'd be the best nominee to take on President Trump and heal the racial divide in America?
We'll call racism out for what it is and also talk about its consequences.
Oh, hey, Beto's back.
Just offend our sensibilities.
Finally.
Say, send her back about a member of Congress because she's a woman of color, because she's a Muslim American. Doesn't just offend our sensibilities when he calls Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals, or seeks to ban all Muslims from the shores of a country that is comprised of people from the world over, from every tradition of faith. It is also changing this country. Hate crimes are on the rise, every single one of the last 3 years. On the day that he signed his executive order attempting to ban Muslim travel, the mosque in Victoria, Texas, was burned to the ground. So we must not only stand up against Donald Trump and defeat him in this next election, but we must also ensure that we don't just tolerate or respect our differences, but we embrace them. That's what we've learned in El Paso, Texas, my hometown, one of the safest cities in the United States of America, not despite, but because it's a city of immigrants and asylum seekers and refugees. We will show that our diversity is our strength in my
Congressman
administration.
O'Rourke, very much. Governor Hickenlooper, why are you the best nominee to heal the racial divide in America? Please respond.
Well, the core value behind this entire country's history is working towards a more perfect union, that all people are created equal, and we've fallen far away from that. I think the job is incumbent on any one of us to make the convincing case that we can deliver an urban agenda that represents progress in schools. Colorado, when I was mayor, we got to universal pre-K for every kid in the urban city. We did major police reform 10 years before Ferguson. Why is it now that 5 years after Ferguson we still don't have anything? How do people get affordable housing? We create a scholarship fund for every kid. You got to deliver a vision like that for the whole country.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Warren, I'm coming to you now. Last week, the FBI Director Christopher Wray said that the majority of domestic terrorism cases this year have been motivated by white supremacy. In fact, the alleged shooter in this weekend's attack in Gilroy, California, referenced this book on social media. How are you going to combat the rise of white supremacy?
We need to call out white supremacy for what it is, domestic terrorism, and it poses a threat to the United States of America. We live in a country now where the president is advancing environmental racism, economic racism, criminal justice racism, healthcare racism. The way we do better is to fight back and show something.
What?
So, I have a plan for
Donald Trump is a better and much more entertaining debater. Yeah. I wouldn't say if he's better, but he's more entertaining. Did she just say environmental racism?
Yeah, I was a little. She was like political racism, environmental racism, medical racism. I don't know.
See, this is my problem.
I don't know if that's a thing.
My problem is that the Democratic Party plays on victimized parties too much. And it's really annoying to listen to. They play on victim parties way too much. Like the LGBT community, stuff like that.
As an urban mayor serving a diverse community, the racial divide lives within me. I'm not saying that I became mayor because racism or crime or poverty ended on my watch. But in our city, we have come together repeatedly to tackle challenges like the fact that far too many people were not getting the help they needed in their housing, and so we directed it to a historically underinvested African-American neighborhood. Right now, in the wake of a police-involved shooting, our community is moving from hurting to healing by making sure that the community can participate in things like revising the use of force policy and making sure there are community voices on the Board of Safety that handles police matters. I proposed a Douglas plan to tackle this issue nationally because mayors have hit the limits of what you can do unless there is national action. Systemic racism has touched every part of American life.
from housing to health to home ownership. If you walk into an emergency room and you are black, your reports of pain will be taken less seriously. If you apply for a job and you are black, you are less likely to be called just because of the name on the resume. It's why I've proposed that we do everything from investing in
Don't think that's how that works, but okay.
I'm not sure.
supporting entrepreneurship for black
Thank you very much. Senator Klobuchar,
I mean, here's the thing, like,
Trump voters who prioritize the economy over the president's
white privilege and the issues that come with it. White privilege can be a thing at private businesses, okay, certain areas, but that doesn't go for everywhere. You're acting like that goes for everywhere. That like white privilege happens everywhere, and it doesn't.
Literally woke up this weekend, turned on the TV, and saw their president calling their city, the town of Baltimore, nothing more than a home for rats. And I can tell you, as your president, that will. The second thing I would say is that economic opportunity means economic opportunity for everyone in this country. I know that because I have lived it. And that means when we put out there better child care and a better education, and we pay teachers more, and we make sure there's a decent retirement system in place, yes, we help the African American community, and we must, because they have been the ones that have been most hurt by what we've seen in the last decade. But we help everyone. So what I say to the people in my rural parts of my state, just like I say to them in the city and bring them together, is that economic opportunity must be there for everyone.
Thank you very much.
I don't think that African Americans are being turned away at hospitals. Yeah, me neither. I mean, maybe there's select cases, but he's acting like it's everywhere.
The planet was literally on the backs of those who were kidnapped and brought here by force. The legacy of slavery and segregation, Jim Crow and suppression is alive and well in every aspect of the economy in the country. Today, as president, I will sign into law the new Voting Rights Act. I will focus on education, address healthcare disparities, but I will also sign into law Sheila Jackson Lee's reparations bill so that we can have the national conversation.
Reparations! Oh, kill me. Dude, I hate
Slavery
reparations. I freaking hate reparations so much. They're so stupid. I'm sorry for anybody in the chat that thinks that they're a good idea, but they're a terrible idea. Because none of the people are going through any of the struggles of being a freaking slave, and they don't deserve reparations. The slaves that actually were slaves deserve reparations, and they didn't get them, which is a black eye on American history, but they don't freaking deserve reparations just because they're black. It's reverse racism, and it's stupid. It's like me getting reparations because I was a German and in World War I all the street names were changed in Ohio. Yeah, no.
All slave owners and stuff have been dead. The people that would have to pay reparations are, I mean,
just white people. We're being singled out because we're white.
Great-grandfathers were slaves.
Yeah, we'd be singled out because we're white, and they'd be singled out because they're black. It's reverse racism, which is stupid and tears the country even further apart. By signing Bill H.R. 40, you're tearing the country even further apart and making it even more divided. And I believe anything over nothing is an insult. Fight me.
Thank you very much. Senator Sanders.
And
I don't think cash payments are the best way to address this issue, but according to a new Gallup poll, 73% of African Americans are in favor of cash payments to black Americans who are descendants of slaves. How do you respond to that?
Well, I respond to that by saying that I am supportive of Jim Clyburn's legislation, which is called 10-20-30. And what that understands is that as a result of slavery and segregation and the institutional racism we see now in healthcare, in education,
for lost were created by Dems. Why does nobody ever talk about that? Because it was hundreds of years ago, and so it doesn't really have as much substance now, if any, I would argue. They were created by Democrats, and Republicans have always been the party of helping with racial disparities, but that was hundreds of years ago, so I, I don't feel like it has substance. And also, a lot of people think that the parties swapped in the 60s. All those people, they're like, and 73% of African Americans are in favor of Bill H.R. 40. Of course they are. But the Dems are the party that loves Planned Parenthood, which kills many blacks every day. Yeah, you're right. It's like, all right, Isaiah, you still there?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna link. I'm gonna put a link in chat if people want to watch it on their own time or whatever. I'm gonna put a link to a African American that's against slave reparations. Let me find him real quick. Alright, this is by the DC Shorts. It's conservative, but I can't find. This is like the quickest thing I could find. And I'm pretty sure it links the whole thing. So, there you go. Let me double check that the link works. Isaiah, you still there, right?
I am.
Alright, cool. Yeah. Alright, but yeah, that is a link that you guys should check out.
I'll take a look at that.
I forgot the guy's name. But yeah, he testified against it, and yeah. All right. Yeah, it's just like with slave reparations. It's like, what's the point? Because
all the slaveholders have been dead for like 100 years.
It's legit just giving money to people because they're black, which is stupid. Also, what about the 27% of African Americans that don't want slavery reparations? You know how stupid and shamed they would feel if they got money? They'd feel like terrible people. They don't want that money. They don't think they need it. Like, it's been over 100 years since slavery was abolished. I mean, just, whatever. Ben Shapiro. Facts don't care about your feelings.
There's only 8 minutes left in the debate, right?
Yep, seems like it.
There's gonna be some really cheesy question they ask at the end, you know?
Yeah, it's like, what's the worst geopolitical threat to the United States? And then the one guy answers, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In one word, only one word answers, yeah.
In one word. Well, I think China, because the big trade war, you know, it's really a problem overseas, and then it's like, shut up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
yeah, we'll wrap this up for the viewers that are still here. We're gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna give conclusions, and, yeah. So, yeah, there shouldn't be too much more. They might go over a little bit, but Fact check by CNN. Man, I totally trust that. I mean, I'd rather do a fact check by, like, an actual fact check organization, you know? Although that's probably just the title. But, you know, I'd actually, like, go to a website that does something like that.
I wonder why my web page is loading. CNN is lagging over that.
I know, CNN's terrible. Like, why can't they stream this on YouTube? It's so annoying. Because they want all that money. They want all the money for themselves from the monetization and the ads. That's why they're doing it. But it makes it terrible for people watching it. Like,
why is it buffering?
Why don't you just stop being selfish and play it on YouTube so that everybody can see it at good quality?
Here we go.
Yay. Would you continue President Trump's steel tariffs? Okay. Cool, fair enough question.
Come on.
Come on, CNN. 6 more minutes. Let's go.
To help giant multinational corporations. They have no loyalty to America.
Alright.
They have some,
We're good. Just run it like this.
by moving a job to Mexico, they'll do it in a heartbeat. If they can continue a polluting plant by moving it to Vietnam, they'll do it in a heartbeat. I have put out a new comprehensive plan that says we're not going to do it that way. We're going to negotiate our deals with unions at the table, with small businesses at the table, with small farmers at the table, with environmentalists at the table, with human rights activists at the table. And then we're going to use the fact that everybody in the world wants to get to America's markets. They want to sell to you.
Congressman Delaney.
Is everyone wants to get to America's markets? No. So the question is,
Senator, thank you.
how
Please abide by the rules.
to
Congressman
raise
Delaney, it's
our
your turn. Thank you,
standards.
Senator. Congressman Delaney.
So that was a Trans-Pacific Partnership. I think President Obama was right. He did include environmental standards. He did include labor standards. We would be in an entirely different position with China if we had entered the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We can't isolate ourselves from the world. We can't isolate ourselves from Asia. Senator Warren's plan basically that she put out, we would not be able to trade with the United Kingdom. We would not be able to trade with the EU. It is so extreme that it'll isolate the American economy from the rest of the world.
Senator.
Senator
Warren.
Senator Warren. Notice what the, I think it said
Senator Sanders, please let Senator Warren respond.
Oh, I'm sorry. What the congressman is describing as extreme is having deals that are negotiated by American workers for American workers. American workers want those jobs, and we could build the trade deals that do it. People want access to our markets all around the world, then the answer is let's make them raise their standards. Make them pay their workers more. Let their workers unionize. Raise their environmental standards before they come to us and say they want to be able to sell their products. Right now, the whole game is working for the big multinationals. It's just not working for the people here in the United States,
Senator,
and we can
thank you very
change
much.
that.
Congressman O'Rourke, your response.
You know, the question was about tariffs, and they're a huge mistake. They constitute the largest tax increase on the American consumer, hitting the middle class and the working poor especially hard. And farmers in Iowa and across the country are bearing the brunt of the consequences. When have we ever gone to war, including a trade war, without allies and friends and partners? As president, we will hold China accountable, but we will bring our allies and friends like the European Union to bear, and we'll also negotiate trade deals that favor farmers and American workers and protect human rights, the environment, and labor, not just here in the United States, but in those
Thank you very much.
countries.
Senator Sanders, please respond to Congressman O'Rourke.
You're looking, I believe, that the only member of Congress who not only voted against these disastrous trade agreements, NAFTA, PNTR with China, which cost us over 4 million jobs, but also helped lead the effort against these agreements. Now, Elizabeth is absolutely right. If anybody here thinks that corporate America gives one damn about the average American worker, you're mistaken. If they can save 5 cents by going to China, Mexico, or Vietnam, or any place else, that's exactly what they would do. As president, let me tell you what I will do. These guys line up at the federal trust. They want military contracts. They want all kinds of contracts. Well, under my administration, you ain't going to get those contracts if you throw American workers out on the street.
Thank you very much. Governor Hickenlooper, your response.
So I think, again, I think Congressman Delaney has got a point here, and there is a way of looking at trade that is therapeutic. The bottom line is, you talk to any economist, there is not a single example in history where a trade war had a winner. Trade wars are for losers. And the bottom line is, we've got to recognize, let's negotiate a better trade deal, but you're not going to win against China in a trade war when they've got 25% of our total debt. And step back and look at, here's Trump gives that giant tax cut, and at the same time, so we're paying in tariffs about $800 to $1,200 per household, and then we give this incredible tax cut to the rich. Essentially, what's happening is now he's transferred that tax obligation onto the middle class. That's what's outrageous, but tariffs are not the solution.
Governor, thank you. Senator Warren.
Anyone who thinks that these trade deals are mostly about tariffs just doesn't understand what's going on.
Is this how they're ending the debate?
I guess so.
What's the central feature?
Huh.
It's to help
Oh yeah, everybody put their winner from tonight
that longer periods of
in the chat.
exclusivity, so they can charge Canadians, Americans, and Mexicans more money and make more profits. That's what trade deals have become. They have become a way for giant multinationals to change the regulatory environment so they can suck more profits out for themselves and to leave the American people behind. We have to have the courage to fight back against that.
Senator, thank you. Governor Bullock, your response?
You know, Farmer and Rippey said to me, every time that Trump tweets, we lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. If Montana had to eat all the wheat that we produce, every Montanan would have to eat 40 loaves of bread a day. But by the same token, what we have is, I actually agree with Senator Warren on this in part. Corporations can move capital easy. Workers can't. So going forward, we need to make sure that our trade deals actually are protecting, thinking about the workers. They can't be the stepchild, but the way to do it with this blunt instrument of tariffs that the president's doing, that's not how we get a fair deal for farmers anywhere or the manufacturers here in Detroit.
Governor, thank you very much. Mayor, stand by, please. Stand by, please. Please abide by the rules. Mayor Buttigieg, on Thursday of this week, a GM plant in Michigan will stop production.
Oh, so it's not over.
I guess not. They're probably gonna run it a little bit over.
As part of the company's modernization plans, which will eventually result in 6,000 hourly workers losing their jobs or being reassigned to other plants. What is your plan for retraining workers whose jobs are at risk?
This happened in my community 20 years before I was born, and when I was growing up, we were still picking up the pieces. Empty factories, empty houses, poverty. I know exactly what happens to a community when these closures take place, and there will be more. It's why we actually need to put the interests of workers first. Of course, we need to do retraining. We're doing it now in South Bend. We should continue to do it. This is so much bigger than a trade fight. This is about a moment when the economy is changing before. People in the gig economy, you go through more jobs in a week than went through in their lifetime. It's why I propose that we allow gig workers.
Do you want to wrap up the debate now, or do you want to keep watching it until 10:30?
Thank you, Mayor.
We have to respond to all of these changes. And
are you good with writing it out?
Confronting tech.
I can do it.
Supporting workers
All right, I guess we'll write it out.
As I propose to do. Some of this is low tech too. Like the minimum wage is just too low. And so-called conservative Christian senators right now in the Senate are blocking a bill to raise the minimum wage when Scripture says that whoever oppresses the poor taunts their maker.
Mayor, thank you very much. Congressman Delaney, I'm coming to you now. Your estimated net worth is more than $65 million. That would make you subject to Senator Warren's proposed wealth tax on the assets of the richest 75,000 homes, households, or so in the United States. Do you think Senator Warren's wealth tax is a fair way to fund childcare and education?
I think wealthy Americans have to pay more. Listen, I grew up in a blue-collar family. First in my family to go to college, became a successful entrepreneur, created thousands of jobs, supported thousands of entrepreneurs all around this country, and I've done well financially. I think I should pay more in tax. I think wealthy Americans should pay more in tax. But we have to have a real solution. The real solution is to raise the capital gains rates. There is no reason why people who invest for a living should pay less than people who work for a living. That's ridiculous. It's the biggest loophole in our tax code. We act like wealthy individuals are endangered species. And if we raise their taxes, they won't invest. That's crazy. That's how we get more revenues from wealthy individuals. We roll back the Trump tax cuts to wealthy individuals. I think the wealth tax will be fought in court forever. It's arguably unconstitutional, and the countries that have had it have largely abandoned it because it's impossible to implement. But here again, real solutions, not impossible promises.
Thank you.
Raise the capital gains tax, roll back the taxes on wealthy Americans.
Thank you,
that we
Congressman.
can do in our first few
Senator
months
Warren,
as president.
please respond.
So I have proposed a wealth tax. It's now time to do that. It's time to tax the top 0.1% of fortunes in this country. Your first $50 million you can keep free and clear, but your 50 millionth and first dollar, you got to pitch in 2 cents. 2 cents. What can America do with 2 cents? We can provide universal child care for every baby in this country age 0 to 5.
For 2 cents?
Universal a pre-K for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old. We can raise the wages of every child care worker and preschool teacher in this country. We can provide universal tuition-free college. We can expand Pell. We can put $50 billion into our historically black colleges and universities, and we can cancel student loan debt for 95% of the people who have it and start to close the wealth gap in America. It tells you how badly broken this economy is.
Senator,
that
thank you very
2
much.
cents
Delaney,
from the wealthiest in
Thank
this
you, Senator.
country would
Congressman.
let us invest in the rest
Senator,
of
please.
America.
Congressman, please
This
respond.
is not about whether wealthy. This is not about whether wealthy Americans should pay more. I think we're all in agreement on that. It's a question of you have a real solution to make it happen. We can raise the capital gains rate to match the ordinary income. You know, the last president to do that was actually Ronald Reagan. We can do that in our first year. I've called for that to be done. I've called for the extension of universal pre-K so that every American has pre-K, and I do it through an additional tax on high net worth individuals. But we don't need to come up with new taxes that are arguably unconstitutional.
Thank you, Congressman Delaney.
Will be fought in court for years.
I want to turn to the issue of student debt. We're going to turn to the issue of student debt now, Mayor Buttigieg. You've talked about how you and your husband are paying down 6 figures of student loan debt. Under Senator Sanders' proposal to cancel all student loan debt, yours would immediately be wiped.
You can't do that. That's not even possible. Canceling all student loan debt.
The next day, there would be a student loan program, and people would be out taking student loans, wondering why they weren't lucky enough in timing to get theirs wiped away completely too. We can have debt-free college for low and middle-income students by expanding Pell Grants and compelling states to pick up more of the burden. And on the back end, for those of us who do have a lot of debt, we can make it more affordable, and we can expand a public service loan forgiveness program, which is an excellent program that is almost impossible to actually get access to right now. We can take these steps and have an approach that is actually fair. If we want to start wiping away student debt, here's where I would start. I would start with the for-profit colleges that took advantage of people, especially veterans, by the way. The moment I redeployed, my Facebook ad feed started filling with ads from these for-profit colleges. Under President Obama, they were held accountable for whether they delivered results. President Trump, under a Secretary of Education, who regrettably is from this state, did away with those rules. There's no accountability. On my watch...
Did he just say regrettably is from the state?
Yeah.
That's where we would begin when it came to...
Some Secretary of Education, I guess, is from
Thank you, Mayor Buttigieg. Senator,
Indiana.
you want to forgive all student loan debt?
Okay.
Your
Matter of
response.
fact, I do. But before I get into that, the major issue that we don't talk about in Congress, we don't talk about in the media, is the massive level of income and wealth inequality in America. You got 3 people who own more wealth than the bottom 90%. You got top 1% that owns more wealth than the bottom 92%. 49% of all new income goes to the top 1%. Companies like Amazon and billionaires out there do not pay 1 nickel in federal income tax. And we've got 500,000 people sleeping out on the street. What we need is a political revolution that tells these billionaires and corporate America that they are Americans, they'll participate in our society, but they have got to start paying their fair share of taxes. Period.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Ms. Williamson, you are proposing to make college free for all qualified students. Should the government pay for children from wealthier families to go to college?
I think that all domestic and international policy should be based on the idea that anything we do to help people thrive is a stimulation to our economy. That's how you stimulate your economy. So if a few people take advantage, but there are 4 or 5 people who are going to take the money that they then have in the bank. When you look at this $1.5 trillion college debt, this is why I agree with Bernie, or I would be, okay, why don't we swap it? We had a $2 trillion tax cut where 83 cents of every dollar goes to the very, very richest among us. That does not stimulate the economy. If we get rid of this college debt, think of all the young people who will have the discretionary spending. They'll be able to start their business. The best thing you could do to stimulate the U.S. economy is to get rid of this debt. This is not just about a plan to do it. It's about a philosophy of governing. And I've heard some people here tonight. I almost wonder why you're Democrats. You seem to think there's something wrong about using the instruments of government to help people. That is what government should do. All policies should help people thrive. That is how we will have peace, and that is how we will have prosperity.
Thank you, Ms. Williamson. Congressman O'Rourke, you don't support free 4-year college. Your response to Ms. Williamson?
I support free 2-year college. Earn that associate's degree, realize your full potential, debt-free 4-year college. But unlike some of the other candidates on the stage, that's not just for tuition. That is room and books and board, the full cost of being able to better yourself so that you can better this country. And then for that school teacher, who in many places like Texas is working a 2nd or a 3rd job, full forgiveness for her outstanding student loan debt, forgiveness for that person willing to work at the VA and serve our former service members. And we do not do that at the expense of unions. We elevate them as well and make it easier to join an apprenticeship, to learn a skill or a trade that you can command for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Congressman. Senator Klobuchar, your response.
I want to make it easier for kids to go to college, and I think we do it by focusing our resources on the people that need it most. And my problem with some of these plans is they literally would pay for wealthy kids, for Wall Street kids to go to college. There's no difference. It says everyone is free. I don't think that makes sense. And I'm very concerned if we do things like that, the debt we're going to pass on to the next generation and the next generation. So what I would do about student loan debt is that I would allow people to refinance it at a better rate, and I would make sure that we improve those student loan repayment programs for our teachers and expand them so that you literally over 5-10 years can get it paid for if you go into occupations where we don't have enough workers. I think we need to mesh what we were just talking about with the economy with our education policy.
Thank you, Senator. I want to turn to foreign.
That's probably the best answer about this college topic.
Trump has argued that the United States cannot continue to be the, quote, policeman of the world. You said the exact same thing on a debate stage in 2016.
Do you think we should have free college for everyone?
President Trump on the issue of military intervention.
I don't know about that.
How should they expect that you will be?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Trump is a pathological liar. I tell the truth. We have been in Afghanistan, I think, 18 years. In Iraq, 16 or 17 years. We have spent $5 trillion on the war on terror, and there are probably more terrorists out there now than before it began. We're going to spend, the Congress passed, and I will not vote for, a $715 billion military budget, more than the 10 next countries combined. What we need is a foreign policy that focuses on diplomacy, ending conflicts by people sitting at a table, not by killing each other. As President of the United States, I will go to the United Nations and not denigrate it not attack the UN, but bring countries together in the Middle East and all over the world to come to terms with their differences and solve those problems peacefully. The United States cannot be the policeman of the world.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Hickenlooper, how do you respond to Senator Sanders' vision for America's role in the world?
Well, we share the recognition of the incredible cost. People don't realize that half the soldiers that fought in Iraq and Afghanistan were National Guard. So I went and sent them off on their deployments, big, noisy hangars, but I also mourned with their families when they didn't come back. We are able now to, I call it constant engagement, but we should have an international diplomatic approach where we're talking to everybody. Because if we're going to deal with climate change and cybersecurity and nuclear proliferation, we got to be talking to everybody. And tariff wars don't work. They're for losers.
Thank you, Governor. I want to go to Congressman Ryan, and I want to turn to the subject of North Korea, which just hours ago launched 2 short-range ballistic missiles for the second time in less than a week. Congressman, you said that you would not meet with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un unless you were at least close to a deal. Now, Senator Klobuchar says that she would, quote, always be willing to meet with leaders to discuss policies. Is that view wrong?
Yeah, I think so. I love Amy Klobuchar, but I think she's wrong on this one. I don't think presidents of the United States meet with dictators. We saw what just happened with President Trump. He goes to the demilitarized zone with the leader of North Korea, gives him a huge photo op, gives him global credibility because the most powerful person in the world is sitting there meeting with them, and weeks later he's lobbing more missiles. That doesn't make any sense. We've got to demilitarize our foreign policy. We've got to make sure that we are engaging these countries all the time. This is very difficult work. I've been in Congress 17 years. I sit on the Defense Appropriations Committee. I sat on the Armed Services Committee. This is long, tedious work, much of it done outside of the eye of the TV camera. And as president, you've got to monitor that and be very disciplined every day. Don't go give a dictator a huge win. Sit down and do your job. And the same thing with what's happening in Central America. He's cutting the State Department budget. Nicaragua, Guatemala, El Salvador, where the migrants are coming from, go fix the problem at its source and use diplomacy to do it.
Senator Klobuchar, your response?
I think we agree. I just think you have to leave open the possibility of meeting with anyone at any place. What I don't like is how this president has handled it. You've heard of the Truman Doctrine, the Monroe Doctrine. He's done the go it alone doctrine with the rest of the world. He's taken us out of the climate change agreement, out of the Iran nuclear agreement, out of the Russian nuclear agreement, and I don't agree with that. And when he was just with Vladimir Putin at the G20, when he was asked about invading our democracy, he made a joke. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have lost their lives on the battlefield to protect our democracy and our right to vote. Four little girls in Birmingham, Alabama, lost their life in a church at the height of the Civil Rights Amendment. So I do believe you meet with people, but you better have an agenda, and you better put our interests of our country first, not the Russians.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Mayor Buttigieg, you served in Afghanistan. Just yesterday, 2 U.S. service members were killed. There are currently about 14,000 U.S. service members in Afghanistan. You've said, quote, one thing everybody can agree on is that we're getting out of Afghanistan. Will you withdraw all U.S. service members by the end of your first year in office?
We will withdraw. We have to.
In your first year?
Yes. Look, around the world, we will do whatever it takes to keep America safe. But I thought I was one of the last troops leaving Afghanistan when I thought I was turning out the lights years ago. Every time I see news about somebody being killed in Afghanistan, I think about what it was like to hear an explosion over there and wonder whether it was somebody that I served with, somebody that I knew, a friend, roommate, colleague. We're pretty close to the day when we will wake up to the news of a casualty in Afghanistan who was not born on 9/11. I was sent into that war by a congressional authorization as well as a president. And we need to talk not only about the need for a president committed to ending endless war, but the fact that Congress has been asleep at the switch. And on my watch, I will propose that any authorization for the use of military force have a 3-year sunset. and have to be renewed. Because if men and women in the military have the courage to go serve, members of Congress ought to have to summon the courage to vote on whether they ought to be there.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to bring in Congressman O'Rourke.
I like that idea.
I think, yeah, he's right on that. I think that's a good idea.
Like you have to renew your
Yeah, you gotta renew it.
commitment, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
During your
Good idea.
in office as president, how do you respond, sir?
I would, in my first term in office, agree that there is nothing about perpetuating this war already in its 18th year that will make it any better. We've satisfied the reasons for our involvement in Afghanistan in the first place, and it's time to bring those service members back home from Afghanistan, but also from Iraq, also from Yemen and Somalia and Libya and Syria. There is no reason for us to be at war all over the world tonight. As president, I will end those wars, and we will not start new wars. We will not send more U.S. service members overseas to sacrifice their lives and to take the lives of others in our name. We can resolve these challenges peacefully and diplomatically.
Governor Hickenlooper, you disagree. You've said that you're open to keeping some service members in Afghanistan beyond your first term.
I look at it as a humanitarian issue, and with all due respect, you're looking at the condition of women. If we completely pull our troops out of there, you're going to see a humanitarian disaster that will startle and frighten every man, woman, and child in this country. And I don't think, we have troops in over 400 different locations around the world. Most of them are small, they're peacekeeping, they're not greatly at risk. We're going to have to be in Afghanistan. Look at the progress that's happened in that country. We're going to turn our backs and walk away from people that have risked their lives to help us and build a different future for Afghanistan and that part of the world.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Warren, you want to make it U.S. policy that the U.S. will never use a nuclear weapon unless another country uses one first. Now, President Obama reportedly considered that policy, but ultimately decided against it. Why should the U.S. tie its own hands with that policy?
Because it makes the world safer. The
Aw.
United States is not going to use nuclear weapons preemptively, and we need to say so to the entire world. It reduces the likelihood that someone miscalculates, someone
That's not a good idea.
understands. Our first responsibility is to keep ourselves safe. And what's happening right now with Donald Trump, as they keep expanding the different ways that we have nuclear weapons, the different ways that they could be used, puts us all at risk. We talk about what's happening around the world. I have 3 older brothers who served in the military. I see that they would do anything. Our military is the best on earth, but we should not be asking our military to take on jobs that do not have a military solution. We need to use our diplomatic tools, our economic tools, and if we're going to send someone into war, we better have a plan for how we're going to get them out on the other end.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Bullock, your response to Senator Warren's proposal to the U.S. never use a nuclear weapon first?
I wouldn't want to take that off the table. I think America's strength, we have to be able to say that. Look, never, I hope, certainly in my term or anyone else, would we really even get close to pulling that trigger. But by the same token, America's strength, and look, this president's made America versus America alone. Our allies no longer trust us. Our adversaries are with us. But going from a position of strength, we should be negotiating down so there aren't nuclear weapons. But drawing those lines in sand at this point, I wouldn't do.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Warren, your response?
Look, we don't expand trust around the world by saying, we might be the first ones to use a nuclear weapon. That puts the entire world at risk and puts us at risk right in the middle of this. At a time when Donald Trump is pulling out of our nuclear negotiations, expanding the opportunities for nuclear proliferation around the world, has pulled us out of the deal in Iran, and Iran is now working on its nuclear weapon. The world gets closer and closer to nuclear warfare. We have to have an announced policy that is one the entire world can live with. We need to make that clear. We will respond if someone else does, but
Governor
not
Bullock,
first.
please respond.
Part I agree with. But by the same token, we need to get back to nuclear proliferation. But when you have both proliferation, reducing them, but at the same time, when you actually have Korea, when you have others, I don't want to turn around and say, well, Detroit has to be gone before we would ever use that. When so many crazy folks are getting closer to having a nuclear weapon, I don't want them to think I could strike this country, and we.
He's probably right about that, right? I mean,
part of the strength really is the ability.
I don't think we have to wait for someone else to use a nuclear weapon, you know?
Yeah.
Destroy one of our major cities. Yeah.
Yeah,
As
no.
you know, to serve as president of the United States, all of you know this, you have to be at least 35 years old. So, Mayor Buttigieg, you just qualified. You're 37, the youngest candidate in this field. Standing next to you is the oldest candidate, Bernie Sanders, at age 77. Should voters take into consideration age when choosing a presidential candidate?
Wait, what kind of
I don't care
question
how
is
old you
this?
are. I care about your vision. But I do think it matters that we have a new generation of leaders stepping up around the world.
Why is
Leaders
this a
like
question?
I actually think it's good that the Prime Minister of New Zealand's gotten a lot of attention in Democratic debate. She's masterful. She is younger than I would be when I take office. This is the kind of trend America might be leading instead of following, but only if it's actually backed by the right vision. And we can have great presidents at any age. What I will say is we need the kind of vision that's going to win. We cannot have a vision that amounts to back to normal. The only reason we got this president is that normal didn't work. We have to be ready to take on this president. And by the way, something that hasn't been talked about as much tonight, take on his enablers in Congress. You know, when David Duke ran for Congress, whoever ran for governor, the Republican Party 20 years ago ran away from him. Today, they are supporting naked racism in the White House, or at best silent about it. And if you are watching this at home, and you are a Republican member of Congress, consider the fact that when the sun sets on your career, and they are writing your story, of all the good and bad things you did in your life, the thing you will be remembered for is whether in this moment, with this president, you found the courage to stand up to him, or you continue to put party over class.
Thank you, Mayor. Senator Sanders. As a senior statesman of the group, please respond to Mayor Buttigieg.
Well, Pete is right. It's a question of vision. That's what it is, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're in between. And my vision, among other things, says that if we're going to fight for health care, we don't take money from the drug companies or the insurance companies. And I've asked all of the candidates who are running to say they will not accept money from those entities who, in my view, are going to war against the American people in terms of health care. That's a new vision.
Okay.
A new vision says that we must cancel completely student debt because the younger generation in this country today, for the first time in modern American history, will have a lower standard of living than their parents.
Thank you, Senator Sanders.
I'd
The debate
like to
continues
visit
right
that
after this.
too. I'd like
Please.
to be heard of.
Thank you. The debate continues right after this short break.
Oh, why do you need an ad break? Why do you need to squeeze it in right before the end of the debate? Come on.
Yeah, there's like 4 minutes left.
It's 4 minutes and you squeeze it in. Man.
Gotta get that advertising money.
Man. Watch out, they're taking debate vids down. Yeah, I know. I don't care. They already blocked my one. Thanks for the warning. But yeah, they actually blocked... last month I did, there's still one of them on my channel, but, the second one, that I did of the second night of debates from a month ago got taken down. Do you know why it's happening? Is it just CNN?
I don't know why.
Or do you know why? Can you type in the chat, whatever your name is, all the letters are upside down. Usernames are overrated. Can you put in the chat? Do you know why? Yeah, they're taking like all, honestly, yeah, they, They're probably trying to monopolize the debate. Oh, of course they are. Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, oh, man, yeah. I mean, I got it taken down. Last time, though, I got striked. I'm hopeful that I don't get striked. But, or not striked, claimed. But yeah, I mean, the last time my video got blocked, it was because when I was talking about slavery reparations, it thought it was a sample from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. And then it linked me the episode, and it was where he said, like, African American, like, 3 times in one sentence, and I did that, and then it linked that clip and said that it was that, and it got blocked for something stupid like that. So, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of stupid, though, because, like...
They haven't taken this down yet, though, right?
Yeah, no, they'll probably take it down. If they decide to take it down, it'll probably get taken down, when I upload it as a video. But yeah, thanks for the... One just got claimed as I was chatting in the live stream. Okay, then. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Crap. Yeah, this will probably get blocked, though. Like, this is the only way my channel grows, though. I only get channel growth from these live streams, and they freaking block them all. Like... If it gets claimed, I'm gonna dispute it. And I'm just gonna say that I added substance and they shouldn't be able to take it down.
We have covered a lot of ground tonight now.
Alright. Yeah, thanks for letting me know, though.
It is time for closing statements. You will each receive 1 minute. Governor Bullock.
Closing statements.
Alright, let's wrap this up. You want to stick with us? Usernames are overrated. Gonna wrap this up.
Only knew there was a governor's house in town because I delivered newspapers to it. So I've made it about 4 blocks in life. Worked my way through college, paid my way through law school. But you know, I had a chance to actually go from delivering newspapers to the governor's house as a kid to now raising our 3 kids too. We got to recognize for far too many people in America that shot no longer exists. For far too many in this country, it never has. I'm running for president to beat Donald Trump, win back the places we lost, and make sure that Americans know that where Washington's left them behind in their economy and their political system, I'll be there. This isn't a choice just between center and left, or about, we don't have to choose between what we don't want and what we can't afford. Folks want a way. They want to believe the economy and our democracy can work for us. That's why I'm running for president.
Thank you. Ms. Williamson?
You probably have a better chance so long as it doesn't get too much attention and it's less obvious. Yeah.
We need a plan to solve institutionalized hatred, collectivized hatred, and white nationalism. And in order to do that, we need more than political insider game and wonkiness and intellectual argument. Those things will not defeat Donald Trump. We need some radical truth-telling, not just to talk about health care, but talk about why are we so sick all the time. We need to have a serious conversation about race and what is truly owed. Even on the subject of foreign policy, it's all about symptoms and not about cause. We need to talk about the fact that the United States has sacrificed our moral leadership, the fact that countries see us, not only domestically but internationally, with policies that simply support our corporate overlords, the fact that our national defense agenda is driven more by short-term profits for defense contractors than by genuine peace building. There's some corruption that is so deep, ladies and gentlemen. And until the Democratic Party is ready to speak to the deeper corruption, knowing that we ourselves sometimes, because of our own corporate donations, have participated, then I'm afraid those who vote for Trump will continue to vote for Trump, and those who might not like Donald Trump will continue to stay home. I want a politics that goes much deeper. I want a politics that speaks to the heart, because the only way to fight, you keep talking about how we're going to fight Donald Trump. You can't fight dog whistles. You have to override them. And the only way you can override them is with new voices, voices of energy that only come from the fact that America has been willing to live up to our own mistakes, atone for our own mistakes, make amends for our own mistakes, love each other, love our democracy, love future generations, something emotional and psychological that will not be emerging from anything on this stage. It will emerge from something I'm the one who's qualified to bring forth.
Congressman Delaney.
Thank you, Jake. John F.
That was
Kennedy
weird.
said we should not seek the Republican answer. We should not seek the Democratic answer. We should seek the right answer. He was right when he said it, and he's right today as well. Donald Trump is the symptom of a disease, and the disease is divisiveness. And I'm the only one on this stage talking about curing that disease, with big ideas like national service, by focusing on actually solving problems. If we work together, we can fix healthcare and build infrastructure. We can invest in not just technology, but people and entrepreneurs, whether they be in Storm Lake, Iowa, or Detroit, Michigan, or Baltimore, Maryland. We can fight climate change and reimagine our education system. But we have to do it with real solutions, not impossible promises. Isn't it time we had a president who was a leader in both the private sector and in government to lead us into the future? I promise, as president, I will restore vision, unity, and leadership and decency to this country. And that's why I'm running for president. Thank you.
Congressman Ryan.
So in a few minutes, all of the pundits are going to be looking at this debate and saying, well, who captured the left lane, and who captured the center lane, and who captured the moderate lane? I hope tonight, at some level, I captured your imagination. Your imagination about what this country could be like if we united, if we put together real policies that...
These closing statements are obviously so scripted. You can just see them practicing it with their debate coaches backstage, you know?
Yeah.
A new and better education system,
It's
a
true.
new and better healthcare system that focuses on prevention, an education system that focuses on the trauma of our kids. There's not going to be a savior. Not going to be a superstar. It's going to fix all this. It's going to be you and me. It's going to be us. That's how we fix this country. You and I coming together to do big things, to imagine the new country that we want by coming together. Not left or right. New and better.
Governor Hickenlooper.
Thank you. And what a night. I've loved it. I'd like to ask every American to imagine that you are facing life-threatening surgery tomorrow. Would you choose a doctor who had a track record of proven success, who'd actually done the work, or someone who had just talked about it? That's the question we're facing in this primary. I've actually got a track record as a small business owner, as a mayor, and as a governor. We expanded healthcare in Colorado, got near universal coverage. We fought climate change directly. Right? We beat the NRA. And for the last 3 years, we've been the #1 economy in the country. We can ramp all that out. I'm as progressive as anybody up on this stage, but I'm also pragmatic. And I've done the things that most of these other people are just talking about, and I know I can get results. And I can lead the people of this country toward a stronger, a healthier, and a more secure future, and defeat Donald Trump and return this country to its glory. Thank you.
Senator Klobuchar.
Well, thank you, Detroit. To win, we have to listen to people. And out there today is Casey Joe's mom. Casey Joe was a champion high school swimmer from a small
Anecdote
town.
time.
She got sick, went to the emergency room, and got hooked on opioids. The last thing that she said to her mom was, "Mama, it's not my fault." And she died. A lot of Americans say the same thing every day. And that is what I will stand up for. And what I will stand up against are companies like those pharma companies that got her hooked on those opioids and didn't tell the doctors or the patients what was going to happen. We need someone that has people's back. We also need someone that can win. And I have won in these red districts. I win in the Midwest. I can win in states like Wisconsin and Michigan and Iowa. I also will do my job without fear or favor, just like I did as a prosecutor, and get through the gridlock like I've done as a senator, where I've passed over 100 bills where I've been the lead Democrat. And last, yes, I will govern with integrity. We have a president where people turn off their TV when they see him. Not me. I will make you proud as your president.
Congressman O'Rourke.
We are as divided and polarized as a country as we have ever been. And right now we have a president who uses fear to try to drive us further apart. To meet this challenge, we have to have hope in one another and a faith in a future of this country that includes everyone. My whole life, I've been including people in the success of this country, starting a small business with high value, high wage, high skilled jobs in the third poorest urban county in America, serving on the city council and holding town hall meetings every single week to remind myself who it is that I serve at the end of the day. And in Congress, being in the minority, but working with Democrats and Republicans alike to deliver for my constituents and this country. And then in Texas, this last year, traveling to every county, not writing anybody off, not taking anyone for granted. And at the end of the day, winning more votes than any Democrat had in the history of the state, winning independence for the first time in decades, and winning nearly 500,000 Republicans. And those 38 electoral college votes in Texas are now in play, and I can win them. That is how we defeat Donald Trump in November of 2020, and how we bring this divided country together again in January of 2021. Thank you.
Mayor Buttigieg.
There's good news and bad news. I'm going to start with the bad news. Our country's in trouble. GDP is going up and life expectancy is going down. Think about what that means. And it's only getting tougher. By 2030, we will have passed the point of no return on climate. There are going to be 130 million more guns on our streets. I'll be in my 40s then. If you have kids, think about how old they will be then. But here's the good news. It's not too late. We can tell our kids that before we ran out of time, just before we ran out of time, in 2020, we did what it took to deliver a climate that we didn't have to wonder if it could support us, to deliver a society where race has no bearing on your health or your wealth or your relationship with law enforcement, that we did what it took to deliver an economy where a rising tide actually does lift all boats. We can do this if and only if we are ready to walk away from what hasn't worked with bold action and win, not only defeat this president, but defeat his congressional allies with a defeat so big that it reunites the Republican Party with its conscience, as well as bringing Democrats to office. Join me and let's make it happen.
Senator Warren.
From the time I was 7 years old, I had a dream. I wanted to be a public school teacher. But my daddy ended up as a janitor, and by the time I graduated from high school, my family didn't have the money to send me off to college. My big chance was what was then a commuter college that cost $50 a semester. For me, what this election is all about is opportunity. Every budget, every policy that we talk about is about who's going to get opportunity. Is it going to go to the billionaires, or is it going to go to our kids? Right now, for decades, we have had a government that has been on the side of the rich and the powerful. It has been on the side of the wealthy. And that means it has not been on the side of everyone else, not on the side of people living on our Native American reservations, people living in inner cities, people living in small farms and small communities across this country. How do we beat it? We beat it by being the party of big structural change. Give people a reason to show up and vote. And we beat it by building a grassroots movement across this country, not showing up behind closed doors with millionaires, but actually building it person by person across this country with small dollar donations, with volunteers, with people who show up and say, I have a stake in this democracy. I will not only beat Donald Trump in 2020, I'll start to make real change come 2021.
Senator Sanders.
As somebody who grew up in a family that lived in a rent-controlled apartment in Brooklyn, New York, and lived paycheck to paycheck, I'm running for president not just to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country, a guy who's a racist.
I wouldn't say he's the most dangerous president.
To transform this
Okay.
and to stand with the working class
A lot more people I can name off.
for the last 45 years has been decimated. 2 days ago, I had a remarkable experience which should tell you everything you need to know about what's going on in America. I took 15 people with diabetes from Detroit, a few miles into Canada, and we bought insulin for 1/10 the price being charged by the crooks who run the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh no.
In the fossil fuel.
Okay, there we go.
It's what's going on in Wall Street. It's what's going on with the prison industrial complex. We need a mass political movement. Please go to Bernie Sanders.
Alright, it's cracking up. You still there, Isaiah?
I'm still here.
Alright, cool. Yeah,
It's just all CNN's fault, right?
it is all CNN's fault if they're just... Yeah, I'm
Put
watching...
it on YouTube.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm watching it.
There you have it, night one of the CNN Democratic debates here in Detroit.
All right, well then.
Certainly lived up to the billing in many ways. We saw candidates
Okay.
flashing on stage, sometimes sharply on policy without
Let's wrap this up.
according to name calling at all. We saw Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren answer tough
Yeah, you can
questions
mute it or pause it or whatever if you want. Here, I'll wait till you're ready. Tell me when you're ready to wrap up.
I'm ready to wrap up. It was kind of a boring debate, all in all, you know?
Honestly,
Not
was.
much. Yeah.
By the end
Kind of like that first debate in June.
Yeah, it was.
We had 2 debates in June. That very first debate, it was just very boring. No one really stood out.
Yeah, I honestly...
And, you know, this debate was really filled with the candidates just saying these very cliche political phrases, you know? And,
Yeah, I was like...
Tomorrow's night we'll have the fireworks. Tonight had the sizzle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of, like, glad it's over, honestly. Like, towards the end, I was just getting to the point where I was like, whatever, please be done. Because it was just so boring. Nobody was really...
I know.
Yeah, so yeah, final statements. I think, honestly, Pete probably did the best out of everybody. But for, in terms of who's actually winning, I think Warren is going to come away with the win on this one just because she got the most talking time. And everybody seems to think she's winning, even though she's pretty bad, in my opinion, out of all the candidates. But,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I think she's going to walk away with the win on this one. If you check Twitter and stuff, like, tomorrow midday, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be like, Elizabeth Warren, let's go. So, you know, yeah. Also, I'm going to actually here, do you want me to link your social medias?
I'm good.
Okay. Alright, yeah, so I'm gonna link, I think mine, but, if you guys wanna go to that, but also, I connected, my main account, my main YouTube channel, it's not political, to, I connected it to this, YouTube channel, so if you go in, the featured channel is Fishrick, and there's some montages and some, like, California, like, vacation and some fish keeping videos. It's a bit more varied, so if you guys want to go check that out and go sub to it and go see the content on there, then you can do that. But yeah, so thanks for, watching with us. Do you have anything to finish off with?
No, just thank you to everyone who watched tonight, and hopefully we can get the streaming situation figured out. But yeah, thank you to everyone for watching. Hopefully you had a good time, and we'll see you back soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I will be streaming tomorrow. The same time. I think that there's a bit more of the bigger some of the bigger people are going to be on, like, for example, we're going to have you know, for example, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. It's going to be some bigger people. So, you know, kind of hyped for that. Kind of want to see how they go. Also, after a month of, you know, having the Twitter and all that stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So, thanks for watching. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Yeah.
Have a good night, everyone.
Alright, have a good night. Yeah, see you guys. Alright. Peace.